look into the mirror, it never lies. You're a pirate, can't you see that this is no disguise? You live to loot and pillage, maim and terrorize. Your reflection tells a story of a pirate's life of glory. Trust your eyes, the mirror never lies.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 8th episode of the Boss Rush podcast. I'm your host, Braden Lander, and today I am joined by Kyler Ramos.
Hey, it's me.
Jonathan Ferris.
Hey, it's me.
And Malik Fleming.
Hey, it's me.
Whoa, Malik, you finally transcended into a man.
Yes.
You have proud. Yeah, we are very proud of you that you have made it into our ranks.
Only took me 20 years.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm not proud.
Oh, you're not?
No, I'm not proud at all.
Well, you're
Alright.
like ancient. You're
That's
not
true.
man.
You are 76.
That
You're
is
basically
true.
another creature.
Yeah,
I'm basically not even human anymore.
Yeah.
exactly.
Shitting yourself everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might as I just give up now.
Well, it's rough.
Oh yeah, I bet shitting yourself is rough.
Well, no, that part's not rough. That part is mushy.
Oh.
you
Oh,
asked
God.
for it.
Well, which part is rough then?
Breaking your hip when you're taking out the garbage.
Oh right. Oh yeah, right. According to Malik, you actually did that. So.
Yeah.
Mhm. So, Malik, what have you been playing?
Oh man, right into it. A lot of Tooth and Tail.
Mm?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I don't know. Something about it's just fun. You build all over the map. It's so easy. You don't have to maintain a bunch of shit. You don't have to upgrade, you know?
Right.
What is Tooth and Tail?
Tooth and Tail is a
What is
like
Tooth
the
and Tail?
Microsoft Sam. Tooth and Tail is a strategy game on console, and I'm sure it's on PC too,
It is.
where you're basically a communist state.
Ooh.
Like it's like the Russian Revolution, basically, and you're fighting against each other. There's the quartermaster, some hopper person.
But you're animals.
Yeah, you're
I
all
see that.
yeah, you're all mice.
It's got a good looking art style.
I think they're all mice, aren't they?
Looks like it.
I think there's like a badgers and
Oh yeah, no, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
leaders, they're all mice.
gotcha.
And then in the actual game, there's different units. There's like the squirrel, the lizard, the chameleon, the trench gang. That's what they're called. And then there's owls. And then there's different like special versions of animals. Like there's this wolf. He's like a commander. And then there's this panda. She's a prisoner, which is like ridiculously strong. And you can only build one of those units. But each building you have of them, you can only build one unit.
And the overworld, the map, it's all like tile based, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's simple. Like once you have those simple rules down, you build your different tiers, you build your different buildings, and you're good to go.
So it's like,
Hmm?
is it like tower defense or like
It
Fire
can be tower
Emblem?
defense if you wanted to. Like you can buy different units that are towers. So you have at the start of each match, you buy 6 units that you'll be using throughout the game. There's tier 1, and those are like squirrels and lizards. There's tier 2, which is the chameleons, the skunks, and stuff. And then there's tier 3, which are those heroes. And then the turrets. Yeah.
That's interesting. Have you also been playing Far Cry 5?
Far Cry 5, not that much.
Are you nearing the end of it?
No, I'm like
Oh.
a third through.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kind of burned yourself out?
That happens a lot. I'm probably going to get back to it this weekend
Right.
after this podcast, maybe even. But
did you at least kill a bear?
yeah, I've killed a lot of bears.
Okay, you don't need to play anymore. You
Somebody
did what you
call
needed to do.
Ipa. Get the FBI and Ipa on this, man.
Ipa. Can you ride the bears at any point?
What was that?
No, you can't. You can
Oh
pet the
my
bears.
God.
Like,
You
I want to
know,
get
you
cheeseburger. That's one of the pets you can get.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a bear.
Mhm.
can you scratch his little chinny chin bear chin?
I hope you can. You can pet all of them, can't you? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. I pet. You have all the dogs around you. What I was surprised by is you can pet every single dog in the world.
What in the world?
Yeah,
This is a big game.
it's insane.
Nobody told me how
That's-
big this game was.
Well, joke's on you. There's only 2 dogs in the game.
Oh.
Yeah, and
Oh.
one
That's
of
better
you.
than Zelda.
Plot twist.
Ooh, got him.
All right.
Zelda doesn't
Other than
let you
that,
pet any
though, I've been
dogs.
playing. Well, one thing I wanted to talk about actually
Mhm.
is I was looking for games to play, and looking for co-op games
Okay.
on the PS4. The
Mhm.
PSN market is so flooded with bullshit. We were talking about the bloatware,
Yeah.
and I didn't expect it to be that bad. But have you looked on the PlayStation Store deals?
Yeah, some of them.
Have you looked at Skylight Forge or something like that?
No.
It's such a bad game. You thought the
There will never be
Life of a
anything
Black
worse than Life
Tiger.
of a
No,
Black
this
Tiger.
is a lot worse. You'll see. You will see. I'm
What's it
showing
called?
you. Yep. Oh my god.
No. What's it called? It's not called Yep.
No, Skylight Forge.
Skylight Forge.
Skylight
There-
Forge.
Just a Skylight Free Range. There we
Oh,
go.
free range.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Like a chicken, like a free range chicken.
Like home
This is
on the
bad.
range.
Yeah. Either one you want to look at. Skylight 2 and 1.
Hey,
Are
this doesn't
both.
look too bad to me. This looks really good.
Skylight free range.
2 or 1. 2 is the one that's on the market right now. I think the first one is 2, but it's their most recent work. Even the ESRB
What
at the start of the trailer,
fuck?
the ESRB at the start of the trailer is like 480p, no matter what quality you have.
This is like
What?
for,
Hey,
for
well, you know what?
for you listeners at home who can't
Yeah,
see what
that's
we're
what I
talking
was-
about.
That's what I was about to say.
This looks like a Second Life, like just it looks like garbage.
If
There's
Second
no
Life,
other way to describe
on-
it.
For the audio
Second Life.
listeners,
This is not Second Life. This is a lot worse.
for the audio listeners, there is an image. This is all you need to know of a blue low poly man with this dark blue liquid flowing out of his eyes. And
Think
his
about
eyes are just like black blue marbles. Get this out of here.
He's got a-
think
he's got
about a
a
PlayStation 1 RPG and then reduce the resolution and the textures. Just reduce them to
Disgusting.
plain colors, and that's what you get.
It's like if
This
someone got
looks-
Second
without
Life
any
on
real
the
models.
DS.
it looks worse than most PS1 games.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So because the viewers at home cannot see what we're talking about, we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
Malik, do you have anything else?
Other than that, not really. I played 99 Vitas. That's a really dumb game on the PlayStation market. Can't recommend it. Other
You
than
bought
that,
it though, right?
yeah. No, it's free. It's free right now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So that was
Okay.
worth it. Still better than Mighty Number 9.
Oh, whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lots of mighty number 9 shade.
Because
Lots of it.
yeah.
The explosions look
Mhm.
like pizzas. Ha ha. ha.
Oh,
Gotcha.
so Kyla, what have you been up
Yes.
to?
Well, we've had a lengthy discussion last time on why I should play Splinter Cell,
Yes.
and you so thankfully gifted me Splinter Cell Blacklist conviction.
Blacklist.
Okay,
I hope it was
Blacklist.
Blacklist.
I think it was Black. I don't remember the title. I just
Blacklist,
remember
Okay. I hope it
seeing
was.
Sam Fisher, but I wrote some notes. I played through the first mission
Mm-hmm.
of the Sam Fisher game. And
Yes.
my very first bullet point on my notes here. It's let me read it out loud to the audience.
Uh-oh.
It says, "Sam Fisher kicks a dog."
Yes.
Oh, nice.
There are
Yes.
I think
there
that's
are
the start of a
survey-
perfect mission right there.
Yeah.
There
Wow.
are survey dogs.
someone's got to call PETA.
Well, I was thinking he was just gonna like arm choke it or something or put it down. He just straight up kicks the dog in the head.
Hell yeah. Put that bitch down.
But yeah, so far I'm really liking it. I'm surprised by how good it looks.
Yeah.
Like visually on the PC. Yeah, I'm running it on Ultra, and I was like, huh, this actually holds up pretty well.
Absolutely.
Come out like 2013.
2013. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm.
And like the controls are very standard. Like you click the left stick in to crouch, that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
I'm trying to play through the game non-lethally,
Nice.
and I also wanted to play through it on hard.
Yeah.
There's like several hard settings, so I just chose the one that was like realistic because I don't want it to like whoop me too hard, you know.
Right.
So I'm playing it with the stun gun, going around
Awesome.
choking dudes. So far, I'm really liking it. One thing that I was surprised at is
Mhm.
it's, like I wasn't expecting the tone of the game to be this way.
Mhm.
It's like it's got this weird like CSI vibe,
Yeah.
you know. It feels like a weird B tier like CBS TV show, which
Yeah.
I don't hate, but it caught me off guard. And I wrote down here, this is the second bullet point. I hate this guy. He reminds me of Mark Zuck.
Oh, what?
It's
Which
do
guy are
you-
you talking about?
Do you remember this guy? This guy is straight up like a Mark Zuckerberg looking
Oh,
dude.
yes, the
He's
guy
like-
that is helping you at your little
Yeah,
outpost or whatever,
He's
or the
supposed
plane.
to be the comic relief. He's like the techie guy.
Yeah.
I hate this guy. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, just throwing out all these jokes. He thinks he's some kind of funny man.
Some funny man.
Right.
Funny man. He's like, "What's up, Sam Fisher? What you doing? I'm a disgusting millennial. How's how was your mission?
Oh
You
no.
see any hot babes?" I'm like,
Mm.
Did
this
you kill him,
guy.
Any chance?
I
Any-
hope
I wish
so.
that guy
hope
was
so.
my friend.
Yeah. Wish I had friends.
Also, I have no idea what is happening in the story, but they're doing a decent job of catching me up, I guess. Like the first mission is you taking out some dude who apparently has some past with Sam Fisher. Like
Yeah, I don't
kidnapped
think.
his daughter or something. I was like, oh,
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, right. I don't think Blacklist. I think Blacklist is its own story.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
Or-
it's completely separate. It's earlier, isn't it?
no. Actually, no, it's not. It is a direct sequel of Conviction.
No
Oh, okay.
way.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
It looks a lot
you're right.
better.
Yeah, it's
Conviction
like
is- or this game. Blacklist is great.
Yeah.
yeah.
There are lots of options.
Yeah, I'm really liking it so far. That first mission felt a little linear, but that's only because I'm so used to how open games have become. Like,
No,
especially after playing Metal Gear Solid 5, you know? Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of corridors, a lot of sneaking. I'm still trying to gauge like how to sneak around the guys because sometimes it's like, oh, I can't tell if he can see me over here. Like this guy can't, but this guy might.
Right.
So-
It definitely gets a lot more open as the
Okay.
game progresses, for
That,
sure.
that's what I was wondering if this was just like a tutorial mission.
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
Yeah, so far I'm totally digging it. I'm loving it.
Nice.
Love the tone. Hate Mark Zuck. Get him out of here.
Get Marky out.
Yeah, get Marky Zucky out of here.
What you doing, Zucky? Zucky's over there with the sucky.
No.
Damn, you got him, bro. Oh my
Anything
god.
else, Kyler?
Anything else?
No, other than that, that's about it.
Nice. Jonathan, what have you been up to?
What
What, have I
have you
been
been
up
up to,
to? I played a game this week. I can't believe it.
Oh
my
I played a
God.
game this week.
Okay, I'm on.
We did play a game.
Yeah, after I don't know how many weeks of trying to get this game to work after crashing all the time, we finally did it, and we started playing A Way Out again. And we got
Yes,
out
we
of
did.
prison, and we did a couple missions outside of prison, and I really, really like this game. It went from
It's a
like
good game.
this game's pretty. It went from this game is pretty interesting. I like the concept to now it's like it feels like it's fully exploring this concept
Right.
and it's doing some cool things where you can
Oh,
interact with
yes.
each other and the world. There's a couple moments already that I just loved. I think
Mhm.
I'll do this one first. I found a piano and I'm like, oh, okay, I can play the piano. And
Oh,
it
yeah.
says, how do you want to play the piano? And I saw Extreme and I'm like, oh, okay, so is he just gonna start playing the piano like Extreme, like for a joke? And
Yeah.
then I click Extreme and I see 15 buttons pop up, and suddenly I'm playing a rhythm game.
I was
and I have
playing
no
the
clue what-
guitar right next to you, and I did the
Yeah, we
same
were-
thing. I was
That
like, "Oh
sounds
yeah,
deep.
extreme, right?" And then there's just like 40 buttons flying past. What the hell?
We were doing a banjo piano duet, and it was great.
piano duet. Nothing is
Once
more
you got
hype
the
for me.
hang of it. And then we had to go into a barn, fix a car, unleash horses, make these two old people suffer.
All right,
They have to gather
keep
their
it light on the
horses.
spoilers. Keep it light on the spoilers.
Oh yeah.
I apologize, but
But yes, those
yes, the
two,
game-
that couple is very, very sad.
very upset.
Yeah.
And it's great. I really like it.
So,
Maybe what's up?
oh, I was gonna say. So, Joseph Fares, that's his name, right?
Joseph Fares.
Joseph Fares. Was he right
Yeah.
about this game? Was everything he said right about this game?
Let's
About his
wait.
own
Let's
game.
reserve.
Okay.
Let's reserve expectations right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
We've still got.
I don't.
about-
Yeah, I don't. I think we still have about halfway. Half
Yeah.
or
I think by
50%
next week we'll
left.
be done for sure.
But
long
you
as
can
we
definitely
really-
recommend it for me.
I think at this point, I would lean towards recommending it, but we're not done. So
right.
Alright.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
Hmm.
Mhm.
but
I'm gonna reserve from having or putting too many of my thoughts out there right now because I'll probably have a review up next week of that
Okay.
game.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Jonathan, you take it away. You say whatever you want about it.
yeah, and I mean that's pretty much where I'm at. Like the prison stuff felt cool, but it was kind of rudimentary, like doing the basics. I remember when the first trailer hit and it was just the prison stuff, and I thought the whole game was going to be a prison break, and then they started showing outside, and it
Mhm.
really feels like it really feels like the prison stuff was more like a tutorial than anything.
Yeah.
And now we're out in the real world doing real stuff.
Big
Yeah, we're
boy
doing real
things.
stuff now.
Yeah, that's great.
We're alive. Wow.
We are live.
We are live.
Doing.
We're
things.
live.
We're
Live
live.
Saturday night.
So is it? Do you feel like the split screen aspect of the game, like one person playing and the other person doing another thing, does it feel distracting at all? Are there a lot of times where you feel like you're waiting around for the other player to activate something?
No, not
I've
really.
never felt like that. No.
No, not at all. I mean, there's some moments where you got to catch up, but it really isn't that bad, and it feels natural. It doesn't feel like the game is being held back or anything. It
Yeah.
works extremely well.
That's pretty
It
cool.
feels natural until something like takes you out of it, I guess.
A
Like,
story
there
or a
are- there are-
gameplay?
Just there's some weird things where it's just like you can be all the way okay, so the way that this game to me kind of falters, I guess, a little bit, and I don't know how much you can do differently because it is a game, is the fact that so that there is like a farmhouse scene. Jonathan could be up in the house and I could be down outside on a barn. Then my character just says like, "Hey, get over here," like normal tone, and then Jonathan like comes over here, and that's fine, that's fine, but the character wouldn't hear that, so it kind of takes you out of the immersion that you're in after the character's like, "Oh, I heard that," and then the player like moves down there. You understand what I'm saying there?
Yeah, I get you.
Okay.
That's-
I like. Yeah,
What
I don't think that.
connection
I
do you
don't think.
have if he just knows
that's
you're
it.
calling him.
Yeah, I don't think that's That's not a big deal breaker at all. It's just something that takes you out of it and says, "Oh yeah, this is a game. I'm playing a game right now."
Yeah, and the entire game, correct, has to be played with a partner. Like you just can't
Yes.
play it single player.
It's impossible to play single player.
That's really neat. And then like another cool thing about this game is that like you only need one copy, right?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So you can
Yep.
just
So
split
me
it.
and Jonathan split that. Yep.
It might be worth it.
Is that all you got, Jonathan?
I think that's about all I got without going like into some of the other stuff, without spoiling anything that happens. Nothing like
Right,
super
right.
like deep in-depth story stuff, but just a cool
Yeah.
set piece.
There are a lot of great set pieces after you get out of the prison. Like
Ooh.
it's set piece after set piece. It's great, and then it's got those nice mellow moments as well that really
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
are fantastic.
Yeah.
So
So
I think the pacing of it's real good.
yeah, I hope it keeps up because right now it went from being like pretty cool, like proof of concept, to now it feels like it's delivering on its concept.
Do you guys feel or know if you're close towards the internet?
Halfway.
Yeah, about
Okay.
halfway. It feels like we're halfway too,
Mhm.
just in terms of how the story's going.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yeah. good
Yeah.
stuff.
Nice
Um,
guys. Good to hear
Yes.
from you.
Aside from we'll see you guys later. Aside from what do you call it? A Way Out. I've been playing some Ollie Ollie 2 again. It's great game.
Did you play the Ollie Ollie 1?
Yes, I did.
Do you have a preference, Ollie Ollie 1 or Ollie Ollie 2?
Ollie Ollie 2.
Ollie Ollie 2 is great.
Yes. Oh, I love that game so much.
I
Other
started
than
Ollie
that,
Ollie 1,
oh,
like
you did?
one time. Yeah, but I never really played it that far. It seemed kind of fun.
Oh yeah, it's great. So addicting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this isn't saying much because there's only like 3 skateboarding games, and then now there are 0. But it's
Mhm.
easily one of the best skateboarding games. I think they nail it.
Yeah, it's my favorite skateboarding game of all
And,
time.
my favorite part, it's such a tiny thing, but how you have to push the X button to land your trick
Yes.
every single time.
The
I
most
love that.
the most satisfying thing is doing tricks, and then when you should land and press X, you instead do a manual so that
Yes.
you're just like sliding instead of finishing the trick, and then you jump and then you start more tricks to keep that combo going. It's
Yeah, to
awesome.
chain that combo. So good.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite score attack game too.
Oh,
it
yeah.
just it's just so satisfying. Everything about that game is so satisfying.
And that music is pretty good too. It's got a good
Oh,
soundtrack.
God, now I
yeah.
feel like I really need to play it.
It's got a good
the
music.
soundtrack is fantastic. Other than that, more PUBG. Though I did start, or I did play one match, and I want to preface this and say I've only played one match of it. But Boss Key, Cliffy B's dev
What?
dev team came out with a new game, early access, called Radical Heights. And what do you know? It's a battle royale game. This
Yeah.
game is not good. I'm gonna
It
straight
doesn't
up
look
say
good.
it's not. I played a match for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I didn't find a gun the entire time. Like not even a gun, nothing. And then I jumped down a hill. I got stuck between rocks, and I was free falling between rocks, and I couldn't get out, so I exited the desktop. That's how that went.
So, what isn't there something that differentiates this game? It's like
There's a money
this-
system.
Isn't
Yeah,
there also like bikes and stuff like that too?
Yeah,
yeah.
a little bit.
there are bikes. You can't do any tricks or anything with them. Yeah, you can't like pull back on it. It's it's very very early access, like very, and even in their what do you call it, in the game itself, up in the top right corner it says early access, and above it says extreme early access.
Whoa.
I hate that so much.
So
Dude.
it's like you feel like they made this game in like a couple of months, basically.
Oh, they made this game in like
In a
6
month.
months. Like,
Yeah.
seriously. And it is just bad. But yeah, it differentiates itself because it's that there's like a money system involved, and so everything that I was picking up were like camcorders or bullshit like that just gave me money. The thing that you can do with the money, if you don't get stuck between the geometry and free fall and can't get out, is take the money to ATMs and deposit it, so that next match or whatever you can start with that amount of money, which is interesting. I'll give it that, but the game just doesn't work. So yeah, Radical Heights. It's very.
There's something on the style. What the hell?
Mhm. What about the style?
There we go. Sorry, my YouTube just went off. No, yeah, for that style, like it's supposed to be like explosive, like an actual like game show. That's what it feels like when at
Mhm.
least when I saw it.
Yeah.
And I feel like to pull that off, they need to make it a lot more fast paced. Like they could have made a battle royale, but they could have made it more fast paced, where it's like it feels like you're always engaged, but there's a lot of people and it's
Yeah.
large.
Right.
It seems hard to pull off, but I feel like if you just like narrow it down a little bit and
Mhm.
make it a little more confusing, you could do it.
Yeah, it is actually a pretty fast-paced game.
Oh,
Playing it, but like it's not good. It's not there.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But it is definitely faster paced than say Fortnite even.
I don't know. I guess what I'm talking about is just like constantly in there, you know? You're not
The-
like anytime wandering.
The game show aspect is actually probably my favorite part of it. because there are things littered around the world that you can go up to, and it's very much like you're in a game show. There's stuff on the walls, and you have to hold down the position for a couple seconds without dying. Then it opens up, and you get to like select your prize and all that stuff. It's interesting. Like it's got good concepts, but it's so early access that it's not worth it. Not
Do you
worth it
think
right
they
now.
can make something out of it though?
Yes, they can make something out of it, but people won't latch on to it. That's where I'm at right now with it. Because you've already got 2 juggernauts and then more coming on the way, obviously.
Yeah.
It's just it's not going to stick. It's not going to stick at all. And if it does, it'll be no. It's just not going to. Which is sad because I like Cliff Bleszinski. I like Lawbreakers. But that is 7 players concurrently. So
Oh.
yeah. Actually, if you looked at it right now, it would most likely be 0.
That's scary to think about.
Yeah, it is, right? It is scary. You have this
It's a big
game.
market.
You have this game, and you have a great developer behind it, and it's a fantastic game. Like it's legitimately great, and literally 0 people play it, and you're banking on that. You spent so much money in development, and nobody plays it. 0 people play that game. More people are probably playing, like Gears of War 1 than that game.
Ooh.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So Kyler, before we started this, you wanted to get into a serious relationship with a man known as Sam Fisher, and you got some questions about him.
Yeah, he's I want to know how he gets his jaw so chiseled.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
I want to know how he keeps his 5 o'clock shadow so 5 o'clock shadowy.
gotcha.
Except for very recently, where he was apparently dropped in very recently into Wildlands.
Ghost Recon Wildlands. Yes,
And
really?
yes, and as somebody who has just started playing Splinter Cell, a part of me thought that game, maybe it does, I'm so confused, took place in like a modern day setting, right?
Yeah,
And then I thought Wildlands took place in a modern day setting too.
it does.
Until I saw Sam Fisher, and this boy looked like he aged 50 years between games.
Really,
is-
you think so?
That's an interesting touch.
Yeah, dude, he is fully bearded out. His hair is all gray. Like when I was playing, he looked like he was, maybe mid 30s. Now he looks like he's like late 40s.
Really?
Yeah.
See, what I always perceived him as like middle-aged 40s, and now I
Really?
feel like he's like in his 50s.
Huh.
Yeah, but honestly, I think that's what a beard does to you, and that's what not having your daughter get captured does to you.
I guess so.
I mean,
But not only that, but his voice is like so grizzled now.
yeah, Michael Ironside, he's getting older.
He sounds hardened.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So does anybody know anything else about like Sam Fisher in Wildlands? Like, is this like?
Oh yeah,
some
this
new
is a legit thing, like a legit quest line in the Ghost Recon Wildlands universe, I suppose.
Huh.
I love these crossover events like this, and Ghost Recon Wildlands has knocked it out of the park, especially because in December, I want to say, they had their Predator. They had Predator come into the game.
What?
Yes.
In
Predator,
Wildlands?
the Predator was in Wildlands.
Did you have to hunt it or something?
You had to hunt it.
Oh, that's crazy.
All the sounds, everything were spot on, like exactly straight from the movie.
Wow. Did Chris Hansen had to come in and save the day to catch that predator?
Unfortunately not. See, okay, the best thing about this though, and it made me feel like really, really good on the inside, was when the game first hit beta. It was a couple months after I watched Predator again, and I started it up, and I was like, you know what I want to do? I want to get a couple friends to play this game, and we're all gonna make our characters look like the people from Predator, okay? Because it just feels perfect. And then they went out and announced this, and I was like, I'm a genius. I'm actually a genius.
Huh.
This is great.
So do you think the Sam Fisher in Wildlands is that because you know how last time we were talking about the leaked or possibility of there being a new Splinter Cell, do you think this all but confirms it?
Okay, I'm gonna again preface what you just said there and say that all those rumors last week were false. They were denied. No, that's just to deny that. I'm not straight up denying Splinter Cell. I still think it's happened it's happening because Splinter Cell was leaked and rumored weeks before that even. But all those marketing deals, those were debunked. But to answer your question, actually, I forgot what your question was. Did I answer it with that?
Yes, you confirmed that the rumors were all false, but I was just wondering if this would, like, nudge nudge, wink wink, hey.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what
Sam
this
Fisher.
is. I think that's exactly what this is.
Okay.
So, E3 is gonna be a good time.
Oh man.
I have a question though.
Go for it.
Have you played the multiplayer yet?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Color.
Oh, in Splinter Cell? No, is that even still going?
Yes.
Huh. It's Spies versus Mercs,
Spies versus
right?
Mercs.
Okay, I
Is
saw
it going
that.
strong, or is it just going like?
I don't know. I was thinking on hopping in.
Either
there.
way, if it's going, I'm in.
Really?
Okay.
I'll play around with you in that. That sounded weird.
Oh, is that a
I'm
promise?
projecting myself.
Well, when I started playing the game, I got overwhelmed because I was looking at my loadout because there's so many options, and I have this money, and I was like, "Oh, what do I buy?" Then I saw these two like options, the Spies and the Mercs. I was like, "What? What?" And then I learned that was part of the
Yes.
multiplayer. So
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'll probably dive into that sometime.
Yeah. The 5 o'clock shadow question. It's just he just maintains it.
Okay.
Or not bi-weekly.
Yoga.
Just twice a week. Yeah, he throws in a little yoga.
I
From
see.
time to time. He does some face yoga as well.
5 p.m. stretches.
Keeping his
Is Sam Fisher
hairstyle back.
a soy boy?
Unfortunately not.
Okay.
I don't know how much that.
Superior neoliberal.
I don't know how much that affects your decision.
I don't know, because he needs to really take care of those hair protein follicles. That's why he went gray so fast, because he's not on that soy.
That's why you're going gray so fast.
That's why I'm going gray.
Yeah, it's because you don't
Gotta
have.
stop eating that meat.
I'm not a soy boy. I have to confirm I'm not a soy boy.
Please, crowd, understand. I am not a soy boy.
I am not a
Exactly.
soy
Also,
boy.
the way his cheekbone and jaw structure is so chiseled is because when he was birthed, the doctors actually chiseled the baby's jaw.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it was upon parental request. So
Oh,
I wish the doctors chiseled my jaw.
yeah, you look like Sam Fisher.
It's a chronic
Big
illness.
bro.
Mhm.
The round face.
Action hero Isium.
So Kyler, I have to ask: are you going to proceed with Sam Fisher?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna beat this game.
What?
Wait, proceed with Sam Fisher.
Yeah, like in a relationship.
This is a game to you.
Oh, I see. Oh, I get
Yeah,
it.
what
I
is
see
this?
what you're saying?
Sam's
Well,
getting
look,
really angry.
You
No,
sicko.
Look, I liked Sam Fisher before. Now
Okay.
Sam Fisher's a little too old for me.
No, I think he's like 20 years younger than you are.
Ripe.
He's factually 20 years younger than me, but he's
Oh,
still
like
too,
30 years younger than
he's,
you.
he's still too old for me.
Okay. All right, that's a little weird, but that's fine. So
Look, I
no,
like
no
him-
on
I-
Sam Fisher.
I like him in their mid 30s.
Okay. Is that a no?
That's a no.
Sam, it's a no.
I'm just.
He said no. Yeah,
Sorry,
Sam.
Sam.
Sam is crying now.
Yeah.
It's all good. At least he has his dog. Wait, no.
Oh.
No, he doesn't.
At least he
No.
has those night vision goggles or whatever they are. He always seems to be wearing them.
At least he has his friend Snake. Oh wait,
Oh.
no.
You're telling me I'm the only one?
So you know, we're really sad right now, but let's get excited.
Oh,
In a week, one of the biggest games of the year,
it's
coming
coming
out.
after
level.
2 DLC.
God of War. Who's excited for this game, and who's not? Let's get this hype check in. What's the hype? What's the hype levels you guys are looking at right now?
Okay.
I'll go.
try it out.
Yeah, go first, Jonathan.
I'll go first.
Go first.
I don't know. I've never been too big into God of War, and this one seems like it'll be good. Although I don't know if I'm really excited for it. You know, maybe someday I'll play it, and that's about it.
Probably not.
Maybe, probably not, but we'll see. You never know.
You don't play games.
I don't play video games. That's true.
If
The
he
only-
gets it, he'll
Only,
probably
only,
play for like
only when I force you do you
Only-
play video games. Video games.
Audio.
for audio games.
Yeah, I need a good like whip crack before I get to the games.
Yeah. Indiana Jones style.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What about you, Kyler? What are you feeling about?
Oh,
this?
you're gonna hit me.
Yeah.
Okay,
What
so
do you feel about
I
God
have always wanted to play God of War. And like I
Mhm.
said, I think I said this one time. I played like a little bit of 3 and then like the opening part of 1. I like it a lot. I just
Mhm.
always fell off of them. Oh, and I played to completion the PSP one.
Oh yeah, some say those are the best. Chains of Olympus.
Yes, I love Chains of Olympus.
Yeah, great
I
games.
really like God of War.
Ready at Dawn did that.
They
The
did,
guys
they
that did the Order 1886
And they're also
DT
working on-
Formers, whatever that
They-
is.
they did
Wada
both.
VR. Yeah, they
They're
did
working
both.
on that,
Ghosts of
uh,
Sparta and Chains of Olympus.
That new zombie game that got delayed next year. That's ready at dawn.
They made Daxter,
I love Daxter.
They made Clank.
Secret Agent
Oh,
Clank.
Secret Agent Clegg
What's
not
that?
as good as Daxter.
No.
I like
But
Captain Toad.
man, get the hell out of here. I'm trying to talk about Kratorn.
Kratom.
The
Kratom.
next
Kratom.
Pokemon we announced it here first.
Is Kratom?
Kratom.
Kratom.
Kratom red and angry?
Kratom Reagan
It's
Reagan.
But I do
Raid Adminum.
I love Cory Balrog.
Oh, okay.
I've watched all the developer interviews. This guy is awesome.
This guy's the best.
I really like the new direction they're taking it. I know a lot of people are upset, like, why even call this God of War if it's not even remotely resembling God of War? But I think it's a nice evolution, you know, because it's not a full separation from
See,
God of War, because there's like little hints of it in there.
I
You
think
know?
I think I saw people say that, and then they announced all the gameplay, and then everyone was like, "Okay, nope, this is God of War still."
Yeah, exactly. The only thing that I'm not too keen on with what I've seen of it so far is I don't like how close that camera is.
Yep.
And it's not there the whole time, but it like gives it a cinematic, like I guess brutally more feeling.
I don't know. That cinematic feeling is honestly what I like about this new one.
It's like,
Like-
the only
Hmm?
the only thing about it is that like from what I've seen or some people have complaints about is like it can be kind of hard if there's like dudes behind you to like kind of slowly turn them around and then
No,
start
see-
fighting the guys
See,
behind you.
that's the thing
kinda
is that there is a quick churn button.
Oh, I see. Kind of like The Last of Us.
Yep, there's a quick turn
Okay.
button. Yep.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna play it when it comes out. I'll probably
Mm-hmm.
rent it, but I am really looking forward to it. I'm not like super hyped. Like I haven't been waiting for it for a long time. But it's just one of those where I'm like, oh, that's a quality game. Gonna play it. Gonna like it.
Have you guys ever played Soul Reaver?
No.
Ooh, I
Uh,
wanted to. I remember reading that up years ago. and I thought,
That's one of those games I really want to see come back. Like just thinking of God of War, that style of game just
Well,
comes to mind.
That's a Legacy of Kain, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Kane games were really fun, but Soul Reaver was a little more fun than the Blood Omen.
This game was too scary for me when I was a kid. I had it on a demo disc and I saw the spooky man on there and I went, nope, and I moved right on.
So Malik, how you feeling about God of War?
God of War? Yeah, I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling like I'll play it. Like that's the only thing I can say about it really, because I've played some in the past and I was not really impressed. But now that it's coming to a more cinematic view and it's like it feels more story driven, I think I can actually put my hands on it.
Nice.
Yeah. When's it
Mine-
coming out though? Like what day?
April 20th. Get lit.
Yeah.
What about you, Braden? What is your hype level on this game?
10 out of 10. Max hype train coming in hot.
man.
Just talking about this game gets me spicy.
So
Okay.
so what particularly about it are you super hyped about or excited to see?
Look, I got an axe.
Whoa.
I can throw this axe. I
Jesus.
can call this axe back to my own hands. Okay, there is so much I can do with this axe. Corey Barlog said that you can throw the axe into the ground at the beginning of the game, play the whole game without the axe up until the very end, then call back your axe and it will fly through the levels back into your hand. What is not to like?
Okay.
You're like Thor at that point.
Dude,
Okay,
speculation. You're gonna wield Mjolnir, Thor's hammer.
Oh, that's
Mjolnir?
crazy. Or at least a reskin will be there.
Okay. Riddle me this, Batman.
Okay.
Do you think Kratos will die at the end of the game and you're gonna play as Bald Boy?
Absolutely not. Kratos is here to stay.
You think so?
This is it. This is his redemption for all the little pansies that didn't like Kratos in the beginning. That thought, this guy's too mean. Oh, this guy does his yell. You know what? I'm not gonna disagree with you, but get over it. This man,
Yes,
has
he does
killed
yell.
gods over and over again. This man beat the living shit out of Zeus. Okay.
Jeez.
What is there not to like? This man ripped off a head of a god straight up. This man is a god. Okay.
Of
So-
war.
I'm just excited to get back into this universe, okay? Because it's not a complete reboot either. This is a pretty much a direct sequel from the third game, actually.
It has been a while, I will say. The last one
Which
was
is
Ascension.
Awesome. Last one was Ascension, yes.
Yep.
That was
2012?
2013, I think.
Oh, 13? Yeah. It wasn't
How
that
was
long
that?
ago, but it was a decent amount.
It was okay. That game was very okay. It was a little boring, but look, I'm a big God of War fan. Okay, God of War 3 blew me away when I first played it. The spectacle of a God of War game is still unmatched to this very day. Walking up the side of a ginormous titan, like going up this huge mountain, and then you fight one of the most like legendary Greek gods ever in the first 15 minutes of the game. Come on. Come on. That is pure hype right there.
That's pretty exciting.
That is exciting. Okay. And apparently, so a lot of previews came out, right? And Greg Miller, my G, my boy, he said God of War's opening is the most I've ever felt to a superhero in a video game.
Uh-oh, somebody call the hyperbole police.
Somebody call the hype police because this is getting wild.
I'm really excited
Look,
for it.
This story is going to be awesome. Apparently, this game is like actually filled with content. I need
Whoa.
I need this game now. The hype is too much for me.
I just want, this is completely unrelated, but it
Mhm.
got me thinking about how long we've had another God of War.
Mhm.
I've waited 13 years for another Ape Escape.
Oh.
Shuhei Yoshida, I know you're listening.
She's
I
coming.
know you're our number one fan.
She's
Shuhei.
coming.
Bring back the monkey.
This is how it's going to happen. Sean Layden is going to walk on stage
Stop.
and he's going to say, "You know what? I'm sure you've taken notice of my shirt." And he's going to unbutton his shirt. And there it is.
No,
Spike's head.
He's gonna unbutton his shirt, and there's actually no shirt underneath. It's just his
It's a
flat body.
tattoo.
Is Sean Layden going to unleash apes on the audience?
Sean Layden will
Yes.
reveal himself.
No, the curtains behind him open up, and there's a bunch of caged apes, and then he lets them free into the audience. Chimpanzees everywhere.
Oh,
Screaming.
Ape Escape revealed. Everybody's crying.
Yeah,
Everybody's dead.
yeah, they're being mauled, but I don't care. I'm at home getting
Ape
cozy and
Escape
comfy.
is happening.
You want to know some good evidence for this? Like 2 years ago on Twitter. No, it wasn't
Oh,
even that long ago. I
yes.
think last year on Twitter.
2017, right?
Yeah. They just simply
Year's-
tweeted out. Yeah, exactly. The year of the monkey with a bunch of like Ape Escape monkeys running around. It's gonna happen.
Now it's
Come on,
2018. Still no ape escape.
Speaking of remasters,
Speaking of remakes, we can actually talk about Spyro now.
yay!
Holy
Wow.
moly, we can
I-
actually do it. We can't we can stop quote unquote speculating and talking about how Target has leaked the game. We actually have stuff to talk about now with Spyro.
Now I don't know about you guys, but this announcement really came out of nowhere for me.
Oh,
I
it came
was
out of left field.
very shocked.
Very shocked.
Wow, I
could
didn't.
not
I
believe
couldn't
it.
even. Yeah, I
I
couldn't even
agree.
imagine.
Yeah. So my first question to you guys really is, how do you like, or what are you guys feeling about the look of this game?
I think it looks beautiful.
Really?
Honestly, yeah, I like it.
It
like,
remind-
yeah.
You can, it reminds me, I guess, of what they did with the Crash trilogy, where it's obviously the old game, but it's very spruced up. Although here it feels like they spruced it up even further.
They
And-
had to, you know.
And I
Well,
think
It looks disgusting.
Yeah.
Really?
Okay. Well, I don't know if you guys remember, but this was my initial fear for when we were talking about this game was I was like, a lot of the creatures in Spyro are just these disgusting blobs.
Mhm.
They leave a lot to the imagination, you know?
Mhm.
Like go on Google Kids and type in Dr. Shimp from Spyro 1. He's a boss, and you try and tell me what that thing is.
Dr. Shimp.
It's a
Okay.
quest. It's a
Dr.
quest that-
Kathleen Shimp. 9021 Park Royal Drive, Fort Myers, Florida. She's a gynecologist.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's no person on this planet that can tell me accurately what the hell a Dr. Shimp is supposed to be visually. He's just a glob in like metal armor and metal sandals. Anyway, speaking of that, I was very surprised with the way they
He's
decided.
like a turtle. Yeah, I mean,
See, I didn't even get turtle out of that. I don't know what I got
it's
out
like
of that.
it's like a turtle mixed with a
It's-
shrimp.
But
On
is
the
he
eye.
wearing sunglasses or does he just have black gooey eyes?
Imagine
I can't tell.
Okay, imagine a Club Penguin model, and then with a turtle head put on it, and then
Oh.
replace the eyes with like two shrimp eyes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what you'll see.
Okay, but speaking of Dr. Shimp, I am very excited / horrified to see what their take of Dr. Shimp is gonna look like in this game.
Oh, that is scary.
But
That thing is scary.
I'm not- this boss scared me when I was a kid. But anyway, what they
Oh.
decided to do, which I thought was really interesting, is they kind of took like a different approach than Crash Bandicoot actually.
Mhm.
'Cause whereas in Crash Bandicoot, they like gave him fur simulation and they gave like real lighting, but on this one, everybody kind of looks like a sculpture almost. Like they really made like those edges sharp because I guess like the polygons of the first game, they wanted to respect like the edges of the art direction. So they opted for a more like sharp sculpture-y look instead of like a realistic look.
oh yes.
That was a bad oh,
Oh, stop that. Stop
jeez.
that.
that's
That's enough.
That's
Oh,
getting cut.
Lord.
That is getting cut.
That-
That is getting cut.
Sorry about that. I should have muted that.
Yeah, get
That's
us
okay.
out. It's okay. I can cut.
Eject.
Eject.
But it's grown on me. My initial reaction to the art direction was like, but then my
Okay, I'm
second
muting.
reaction
God
was,
damn it.
oh, that's like
Okay,
a fire
what was
alarm.
your
going
reaction
on.
again?
My initial reaction to seeing the remaster was, especially when I saw like the look of the dogs in the
Mhm.
toasty level.
That's
So I was
quite
like,
a
"Oh,
reaction.
they look stupid. Yeah, I actually screamed just like that too.
Did you cry?
But there was a little bit of crying. I'm not gonna lie, there's a little bit of crying. But I grew. It's growing on me. I really like the like I said. I like it was a bold choice to not go realistic and to go like sculpture-y. So
Like clay.
yeah, like clay exactly. It almost like like because this is Toys for Bob, right? The Skylander
Mhm.
boys.
Yeah.
It's like it's like this is what they're good at because you know Skylanders are toys.
Yeah.
So these kind of look like running action figures.
I like the look. I just it feels like it goes a bit too over the top in a lot of
Mhm.
ways. Like in
I-
terms of just color design and field design. It's like I mean, it felt like oh, these areas are a little empty or barren in the original because it was a PS1 game, so we got to make up for that. And I feel like it goes too far in the other direction. Like I saw this one picture of like what it actually looks like versus if it had colors like the original.
I hate the colors in this. I hate them.
I
I
really
Oh.
absolutely hate them.
Yeah, compared to the original, like the color scheme closer to the original, I wish they were staying with that. I don't hate the look. I think it on its own it looks fine. Although I do hope that before the game comes out they take some pointers from some of these edits and try and recreate that in the game itself.
Yeah, I don't know what they're like, cause like
Too
the biggest,
orange.
yeah, like
Yeah.
the wizardry level with there's like a windmill in the background. They like
Mhm.
completely changed like the color and look of that stage, and then like by default, it just kind of like changes the whole, I guess, atmosphere of that level.
Mm-hmm.
So
Remember last generation when everything looked like it was smeared with piss? That's what this looks like.
Oh
yeah,
my god,
I'm, I'm
harsh.
I'm uploading a picture of the original Nork with a beanie, and then I'm uploading like the remake one. I really don't like how they
What do
made
you
these guys
mean?
look.
I mean, it looks fine.
The
Of the Nork guy,
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
like during gameplay too. I don't know. I think that looks completely fine to
It
me.
looks fine, but like it doesn't look like how I imagined it looked like when I was a kid, like those green blobby boys with the beanies.
Right.
I don't know. It's so different. I don't hate it at all. It's just not what I was expecting, I guess.
yeah
Yeah.
the
But
other
they
He's
didn't.
missing his nose.
Yeah, they didn't have much to work with though. We got to be fair on that one.
Yeah, right.
hmm the
Mhm.
other thing that I don't know if I'm worried about because I'm going to talk about the music. And the thing with Spyro's music in the original is that it's very I feel like there's no other game soundtrack quite like Spyro. It's very like atmospheric,
Mhm.
you know. And there's one track from the remake that's out on YouTube. I don't know where it came from, but it's out there, and I like it. It sounds good, although I just don't know if it captures the same feeling or the same vibes as the original. Like
Yeah.
I feel like the original like really had this mystical vibe to it with just how it looked and how it sounded, and I guess it just feels like the remake is kind of going more poppy.
The original was by Robert or Stuart Copeland, right?
Stuart Copeland,
From
drummer of the Police,
Stuart Green
exactly.
Copeland.
living
And
legend.
there's like this behind the scenes feature like that
Mhm.
was on a demo disc of him like talking about how he made the music, and it's so delightful.
Oh yeah.
Like, I love my job. I just hit a few keys here. You know, I quantize it, move some things on the computer, and that's what I do all day. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Like, I love this guy.
like in the trailer, the first couple seconds of the trailer is from the remix of Stonehill, I believe is the name, and it just sounds like it sounds way too upbeat compared to the original, which kind of had this like almost ominous kind of sounding noise.
Yeah.
Like it has like the final hours of Majora's Mask, like that
Ooh.
ominous sound. You can hear that in Stonehill, and you hear the version that's in the remake, and it sounds nothing like that. So I kind of hope that it's just a trailer thing, and like the actual song of the game is more accurate, or just have an option for the original music. I don't know if that would be like impossible or what. An option would be nice,
Everything
Yeah.
like the original. I'm watching a video right now, and the original's the regional
Originals.
the original's colors are just they're so much better. They're so much more natural. Whereas the colors in this new game, it just looks like it's like dusk or
Yeah.
dawn all the time, all
Like,
the time.
it's weird because like in that very first level, like I didn't notice it until I'm looking at the screenshots, but like the very first level in the OG Spyro, I guess it was always intended to be dawn. Because like you look at the sky and it's like a sunsetty sky, but the grass is so like bright green. But in
Mhm,
the remake, like they went like all dusk on that one. Because like
mhm,
we see glimpses of it in the trailer, and it's like extra orange.
Mm-hmm.
But
right.
it's like artistic decisions, I guess. Like I don't hate it, but I do prefer the way the OG looks.
Yeah. I don't know. It has that nice look to it, like a game that I know, Hardlands or Hardland. It's an interesting game. It looks like this all the time,
Hmm.
and I think it's a nice look to it. It's like it feels like sort of close to claymation, and that's
Yeah.
what I like about it. Like you guys were saying earlier.
Dude, but yeah, I'm excited for this game only to see what half of these creatures are just gonna look like in the remake. Because like in Crash Bandicoot, they were based in realism. Like a lot of them were just animals or like
Yeah.
skinny doctor looking dudes. In
Yeah.
Spyro,
Skinny
went-
doctor looking dudes.
It's
there's
true,
no
it's
other way to
true.
describe it. But in Spyro, like they kind of like similar to how Pokemon designed their characters for that Game Boy screen. Like they only
Mhm.
had a limited amount of pixels to work with.
Right.
Spyro, they only had a limited amount of polygons, so they just kind of like went for it. So
Mhm.
like I can't wait to see like what half of these things are gonna look like in the remake.
Yeah.
It's like
I
what do
can
you
see
do?
that.
What do you do with that?
I'm still super excited for this. I'm gonna pick it up day one. I've never played 2 and 3, so I'm hoping to finally get through the whole trilogy in one go.
2 is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Never played through 3.
That's what I'm most excited for, is to play 2, because that's what I hear the most praise for.
Mm-hmm.
Just like how I think Crash 2 is my favorite of the Crash trilogy.
Same.
So hopefully Spyro 2 is the same
Yeah,
level of quality.
I'm still probably gonna pick it up just because I played the third one, I think. And I really I like Spyro. I like everything that it gives off, and I will always support these old games coming back, no matter what. Um, yeah, even if it will be the Dark Souls of Spyro games, I'll still pick it up.
I mean, it's kind of insane that Dark Souls was able to inspire Naughty Dog to create Crash Bandicoot back in 1996. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
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 My head
I
hurts.
agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, guys, what anime you been watching?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Spyro the Dragon.
Oh, that's
Dark
my
Souls.
favorite anime. Dark Souls.
Corey in the house.
So we got a couple of things coming up on Boss Rush. This is going to be a good little intermission here. If you have stuck with us up until now, to you I say good job.
You're doing
I didn't know that was possible. But if you did, you're gonna get some nice little
reaction videos.
nice little announcements in here. I put an emphasis on this announcements. The first one, Jonathan's cooking up something right now. I'm editing it currently to be put into script format, but just in time for the Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze re-announce a re on the Switch. We are going to have a Donkey Kong Country retrospective up before the re-release of Tropical Freeze on Switch. So
I finally
to
get to put my love for Donkey Kong towards something.
exactly,
Funky Kong for life.
Funky
Oh,
Kong
man.
for life.
I wish Funky Kong was my dad.
He's
wish-
not.
Cool dad.
No, your cool uncle.
Yeah, he's
You don't want to be raised by Funky Kong. You
Yeah,
just want
no.
him to show up.
Funky
every
Kong
once in a
is your
while.
dad.
I don't know. I kind of wish Funky Kong was my dad.
Each their own.
Yeah.
He would just leave you to go surfing all day.
Yeah, and
Or
to
he
me-
would teach you to search.
to me that's what
Surf.
So many wise words.
God
Funky
damn
Kong
it.
has.
to me Funky Kong is the ideal father figure.
I feel like Funky Kong would
I
be a
think he's
cool
the ideal
dad
figure of anything.
for like a couple of days, and then you're like, Dad, stop! I don't want to go surfing again. Like, come on, brother.
Come
Let's go surfing."
That's it, dude.
Bodacious.
Dad,
Another thing I got. This one is super exciting. I mentioned Ali Ali 2 earlier as one of the games I was playing, and I kept it a little brief. Just because tomorrow I am interviewing the developers of Ali Ali 2, two men from Roll 7, John Ribbons and Simon Bennett. John is the creative director on Ali Ali 2, and Simon is the lead marketer, and he's on the production design of the game as well. I'm going to be talking to them tomorrow morning, doing an interview with them. I'm super pumped for that. That'll be up next Wednesday. Get hyped. It should be great. We're going to be going over the development of Ali Ali, Not a Hero, and then their newest game, Laser League. We're going to go in depth with that. I'm
Ooh.
super pumped. It should be a great interview. Stay tuned because I may have something for May coming up here pretty soon. That's a pretty big one. But right now, all my efforts are going towards tomorrow's interview with Roll 7. So please be excited. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a good time, and that is going to go up on the 18th, April 18th, and that will be our headlining April interview for you guys. So that's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be a good time.
Can't
Sounds
wait
like
for
a great
that
time.
one.
Mhm.
Whoa.
So, recently or yesterday,
Mhm.
Microsoft announced more backwards compatible games. Jonathan, fill us in.
Fill us in. So yesterday, Microsoft had their second episode of Inside Xbox, which is their Xbox talk show thing, and they hyped it up, saying this is going to have the next list of original Xbox backwards compatible games. And I was thinking, okay, I hope it's more than 13 like last time. I hope it's a bigger list of games. I'm going to pull the list up right now. But I had high hopes for the Sega games because those are like, I think at least for me, those were the biggest wants I have. And I wanted Conquer. I wanted Conquer a
Ooh.
lot because the Conquer, the Live and Reloaded remake, I think is maybe the most gorgeous game of that entire generation. Like
It
how they
looks so
pulled that
good.
off. I don't know how the heck they pulled it off on an original Xbox, but they did. And so you could imagine my excitement yesterday when I saw this list. And I'm gonna just lay it all out.
Squeeze.
On April 17th, we get Blinks. Finally, get Blinks. We get Breakdown, which is another game I've been meaning to get to, and I did recently pick up a copy in preparation for this. We got Conquer. Conquer's coming. I am so excited to play this game in HD.
It's coming
Is it
already.
When is it coming out?
April
Conquer?
17th. This is
That's
like
ridiculous and close. I want to see that.
this is like a dream come true. I was when they came out with Rare Replay, I wanted a Conquer Live
come
Unlimited
on.
Remaster, and I'm finally getting one.
I was
We
shocked
got-
they didn't.
I know. We got Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, which is a big one for probably a lot of people. Maybe not for me, but big thing. Hunter the Reckoning, Jade Empire, and the one and only Sega game on this list, Panzer Dragoon Orta.
Orta, yeah.
Orta. And not
That's
only
big.
not only that, that game
SSX3. That's what I'm most looking forward to.
SSX3, that's the other one I got a copy of. So I got a lot to look forward to on April 17th. And what's cool about Panzer Dragoon Orta too is that game has the full original Panzer Dragoon on it. So you get both the original and Orta with that. So that's awesome.
What about? Okay, this definitely hasn't been announced yet, right? But Jet Set Radio Future.
No,
Not yet.
Oh, what are
it's
you
coming.
doing?
It's coming.
I
It's
hope
coming.
so. The only problem with Jet Set Radio Future is that there's music that they have to relicense.
Yeah.
I think they know that it's got to be like the most requested Xbox game at this point.
Mhm.
I think if they ever went the extra mile to relicense anything, it would be for that.
God, I love Jet Set Radio so much, and I've been wanting to play Future for so long, but I'm not gonna go out of my way and buy an OG Xbox just to play it.
Yeah. So I'm hopeful for the future. We got Panzer Dragoon Order, so we finally have some Sega support. I'm still hoping for Gun Valkyrie and Shenmue 2 would be awesome as well. But
Yeah,
Outrun
don't
2,
expect that one.
well, Outrun 2 would be amazing, but Ferrari, so haha. Good luck. As for the rest of the games, on April 26th, we get Destroy All Humans, Full Spectrum Warrior, Mercenaries Playground of Destruction, which I've heard a lot of good things for. I want to look into that one some more. MX Unleashed, Panzer Elite Action, Fields of Glory, and a boatload of Star Wars games. We've got both Battlefront 1 and 2, Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, Jedi Starfighter, Republic Commando, and Knights of the Old Republic 2. So we got a lot to look
A lot of
forward
Star
to.
Wars. A lot of good Star Wars games.
I'm pretty sure I'd have to double check, but I think every single Star Wars game that was on the original Xbox is probably playable at this point.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Like
I think you're right.
that's most of it. It's got
That's
to be most of it.
insane.
Jedi Knights. That's a great game.
And alongside that, we got 6 more 4K enhanced 360 games for the Xbox One X.
Oh boy.
And that's Sonic Generations, my favorite.
Yeah.
Darksiders, Portal 2, Gears of War 2. What was the Force Unleashed? Some more Star Wars and Red Dead Redemption, a 4K version of Red Dead.
That's a big one.
That's a big one.
That is a big boy.
'Cause that game is not on PC, so if you
No,
want to
it's
play that in
not.
4K, you gotta play it on the Xbox One X.
So it was great news. I didn't want to expect too much from the backwards compatibility, but I got Conquer and I got Panzer Dragoon. So I was very, very, very happy. And
I'm happy for you.
I gotta get the Xbox
I'm proud of you,
back.
son.
Proud of you.
Dad. It's great news all around. I'm so
Can we
happy.
get free pizza for this, Malik?
Yeah,
From Little John,
From
Little
everyone.
Ferris's John.
Little Ferris's Johnsons. or what
Yeah.
was it?
Sick, man.
Oh, that was a terrible.
So backwards compatibility. Microsoft seems to be the only one doing this thing correctly.
Yes.
Uh,
Above and
Easily.
beyond.
yeah, above and beyond. Sony is being ridiculously transparent about this. Just absolutely nothing on it, and it's starting to get a little annoying at this point. I expect something down the line. I really, really do. But
Mhm.
right now, they're just
Um,
dropping the ball.
one of the lead Sony guys, didn't he infamously say like a year or two ago, where he was like, "The truth is, nobody's just playing old games. Nobody's doing it. Nobody wants the old garbage."
What's
think-
his name?
I think it was Jim Ryan.
Jim Ryan. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
about to say
Jim
Sean
Ryan.
Ryan.
I
Because
see.
that's
I
Jim
see. I like.
Ryan.
Is terrible.
He was at-
No, I like Jim Ryan, but after that, I don't know anymore.
He
No.
was at a Gran Turismo like fan event, and there was like they had booths to play like the original Gran Turismo games, the PS1 and PS2 ones, and he was like, "Why the heck would anyone play these?"
Jimmy,
Ah,
Jimmy.
Oh,
Jim Ryan.
Jimbo.
Oh, Jimbaroni.
I do want to see the stats of how many people are actually going and playing these games, though. I would be curious to see that.
I think the hours they only released the hours. I want to say it's above like 800 million, which sounds
Holy-
insane. All right. I'm gonna look this up. Xbox backwards.
I wouldn't be surprised if people still play it.
hours.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially because
Over-
there's nothing else to play.
As of February 28th, over 840 million hours of Xbox 360. games.
Wow,
Might as well play
that's
those.
impressive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is exceptional.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been
Crying.
well. I foolishly sold Rare Replay when I sold my Xbox.
I still have it actually.
Now that I fished out the Xbox One from the garage, I need that Viva Pinata itch again.
Mhm. Yeah.
Uh,
See, if I
Also,
had to- If I had to get my Xbox One, I would have to go across seas. So
ooh. Story for another time.
story for another time.
But since we're talking about backwards compatibility,
Compatibility.
I just want to say EA should make some more skate games
Mm-hmm.
because those are
Yeah.
good.
Have you ever played Skate 3?
Hell yeah, I did.
Skate 3 is a great game.
Skate 4 will be amazing.
Will
If
it?
Will it exist?
It'll never happen.
It will happen.
Oh, thank you.
I believe it. I believe
Thank you
I
for
believe,
reassuring me.
I believe
Yeah.
Skate 3 will
It's just
I
so
know these
crazy to
things.
me. Like it was such a great feeling to put in like an original Xbox game and it just starts downloading and I can play it in
Mhm.
HD. And like I don't know. I shouldn't even expect that much honestly because it's not the norm and yet they're actually doing it and I love them so much for it because I really feel like game preservation isn't something that's taken seriously enough, especially by like big publishers. It's like it felt like 10 years ago it was a bigger deal to to the companies to like have these games available to download and now it's like Nintendo's got nothing. Sony has a couple PS2 games and no PS1 at all, which is insane to me. And Microsoft feels like the only one making like an earnest effort
Yeah.
to try and get their old stuff playable and you don't even need to rebuy it. You just put in the disc and it works.
Yeah. That's the thing too with Nintendo. It's coming. It's inevitable, but you're gonna have to pay for it again.
Yeah, the thing with Nintendo is like all we
There's
know,
slime balls about this.
all we know is that their online service is going to have some retro games. But we don't know how many. We don't know what systems. NES, and that's it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they're going to have online play, and that's cool. But I don't know. It's like if that's the only option, it's like there's no way they're going to cover anywhere near like the depth of the libraries of these older systems. And if it's
Exactly.
NES only, then I mean that's entire systems. Like no Super Nintendo, no Game Boy or Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, N64. Go and get some Genesis and TurboGrafx games again. And they're resting on their laurels. They're just not bothering. The closest thing we have are like the arcade archives, which reminds me that the Arcade Punch-Out came out for the Switch pretty recently that I should really pick up because that's the kind of thing I want to see is stuff like that.
Do you think the Wii U spooked Nintendo away from backwards compatibility? Because of how the Wii U like was just so tied to like its past. You know what I mean? Like there was so many different control options
It's in
and
total like it's in totally different conditions though.
I think just by the nature of what the Switch is, backwards compatibility was never going to be there.
yeah.
I mean, maybe they could have gone insane. It's like if you bought a digital Wii U game, some of them would work on the Switch.
Mhm.
But I never expected that. I always expected Switch would have to be a clean break. You have to get a clean break from that architecture because the Wii U was still running like GameCube architecture at its core.
Yeah.
So they had to move on. I don't even think you could have thrown 3DS in there because you'd have to account for the dual screens.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to have a clean break, but at the very least, those virtual console games should at least carry over. They should finally, put some GameCube and Wii games even on there. And so far, it's just nothing but another company releasing a few of their old arcade titles, and at some point, we'll get some NES games as part of the paid
I
online.
still dislike their like online architecture thing.
Mhm.
Like I can't believe they're so far behind still.
Yeah.
Like
What,
friend
Nintendo's?
codes are still
Yeah.
around? Are you
I
kidding
think
me?
It's insane because the Wii U had usernames.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Wii U already got rid of that, and then they just brought it right back. It makes no sense.
No cloud saves? What are you doing?
The only
Mhm.
If-
Voice chat over phone.
Oh my god, don't even get me
the
started.
the crazy thing is like apparently now like some people figured out that some of these firmware updates added like headset support, and yet still I don't even think they like work though correctly.
You can use the PlayStation headset on it,
Yeah.
the wireless one.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but you can't. You can't. You can only listen to audio. You can't speak through it.
Yeah.
mean,
You gotta speak through your phone.
There's
Yeah.
I'm curious if when they finally start talking about this again in full, if it's going to be like totally like rearranged again, just because it's been so long. It was
I
supposed to come
hope.
out last year, and it got
Mhm.
delayed like a full year. So I'm gonna hold my breath, I guess. But I feel like I don't know if it's $20 a year to get like basically a Netflix of retro games. If the selection's there, then maybe that'll be worth it on its own.
$20 a year. Hell yeah.
Yeah, $20. I mean, if that's my only option to play NES games too, I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
I mean, Super Mario Brothers 3 on the Switch, that's not bad.
And they're updating them too, right? Like adding in leaderboards and like online stuff.
Online, yeah. So like they showed off like Dr. Mario. You could play like online NES Dr. Mario and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be NES and SNES games at first, and then they changed it, and it's only NES now. And then
Okay.
they change it again.
So yeah, let's discuss this then. How would you want Sony and Nintendo to go about backwards compatibility? For Sony, it's infinitely easier than Nintendo.
Yes, absolutely.
sure.
Because all you have to do is put in a disc. Although
Yes.
apparently the PS4 like doesn't have the license for CDs or something. I
Yeah,
remember-
something weird.
I remember reading that years ago that it like they would have to like update the system and start paying the license for it to be able to read like actually like legally read the CDs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
But I mean they have like such an insane collection of
Their library is
the PS1 classics available
Crazy.
digitally.
Yeah, PS1 and PS2.
Yeah, even on the PS3, there's still a lot of PS2 games that
Yeah.
aren't on the PS4. Like Gradius 5 is on there, God Hand is on there, Shin Megami Tensei, like almost all of those. You can
Yeah.
get Persona 4 on the
Yeah,
PS3
exactly.
and not the PS4.
it's weird.
And I mean, if they could just carry over all of the PS1 classics from the old PlayStation Network, I feel like that would be enough for me because I already have like 50 of those at least. And if I could play them all on my PS4, that would be amazing.
But I mean, you have it right there on your other console.
I do have it right there on my other console,
But
but
you gotta plug it in and dust it off.
I feel like though,
Other people don't have that access.
and here's the thing: is like what happens when you get to PS5? Because suddenly, oh, that's 2 consoles ago, and then it's 3, and it's not carrying forward at all.
Yeah.
I do think that there is a point where you stop, where you say, backwards compatibility, it's great, but we have to keep moving forward.
Right, and I mean, I don't blame them for not having like PS3 because of just how that system
Oh,
is
yeah.
designed. I mean,
Terrible.
you can't always account for things being backwards compatible forever. Like even Xbox One, I expect the next console to be like to carry everything over, but it's like how many consoles can you carry over forever with?
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
So
in the case of the Xbox One, so they're not. There's no actual original Xbox and 360 hardware in there. It's actually like really impressive emulation, right?
Right. I think
Mhm.
there was some interview where back in the early days of Xbox One development, there was a plan for 360 backwards compatibility that they dropped, but some of that like architecture or code or whatever was still left over and they used that and that helped them out a lot to get those games up and running.
So theoretically, it could be possible for Sony. Well, it's going to be harder in the case of the PS3 because it had such an insane architecture.
Right.
But
Ridiculous.
theoretically, if the PlayStation 5 was powerful enough,
Yes, I think the PS5 would be able to emulate the
Emulate.
PS3 because we're seeing some like insane progress right now on like modern day computers with PS3.
yeah, yeah.
Not perfect, far from perfect, but like,
Mhm.
insane progress nonetheless. And if this is something that just some like homebrew people are doing in their free time, then Sony, who made the PS3 and has all of the documentation or whatever, it should be possible.
I feel like at that point, it would actually just be cheaper. I could be wrong. I'm a stupid idiot who doesn't know how technology works.
What dumbass?
Wouldn't it make sense to just at that point in time just shove original PS3 hardware in there? Like, wouldn't it be just cheap to do that too?
Maybe not, because then they'd have to like, I don't know the right way to describe it.
Look,
'Cause I
Mark
don't
Cerny.
know.
Mark Cerny is a god at engineering the innards of a console. But when you start throwing in PlayStation 3 architecture anywhere, things start to get a little shaky.
Well, that what they did with the very first PS3, and this only lasted like 2 months or so, was they threw a PS2 in there, like totally separate. It
Yeah.
was in there just to run those PS2 games perfectly.
hmm
And I mean, theoretically, it's possible that they could just do that, but I feel like they're not really producing PS3s anymore, so they'd have to like get that
Oh,
back,
yeah.
back up and running. And that's PS3s never really got like super cheap. I think the
Mhm.
cheapest they
That
ever
is true.
got was like maybe 200. I'm not sure.
I don't even know about that.
Yeah, it might have been 250.
Yeah.
This generation already feels way cheaper than the one that came before it.
Well, maybe if Mark Cerny wasn't too busy trying to get Knack up and running, he could get, PlayStation emulation going.
Hey, don't talk bad about Knack.
Yeah.
we all
Don't
know.
go about doing that.
We all know Knack is a problem.
Don't go there.
Yeah,
Don't go there.
Don't go there.
Don't go
We
there.
all
So,
know Knack is a
Reject
mistake.
this guy.
so how do you want Nintendo to go about doing backwards compatibility?
I mean, the only thing they can really do, I guess, is just keep expanding on the virtual console instead of dumping it with every single console. Because the Wii came out, and that's when virtual console was new and it was fresh and it was exciting. You had a lot more companies on board. You had a lot more systems supported. And I mean, I think really the first year or two was when it was most exciting, when it was seeing the most releases. But over the years, it built up a really impressive library of classic games. They're all lost now because the Wii Shop shut down a couple weeks ago. Rest in peace.
Rest in
Salute.
peace.
I never got to do my official, salute to the Wii Shop.
I'm still
dearly,
sad.
dearly missed. It's not dead yet, but you can't add points anymore, so it's basically dead. And then the 3DS happened, and that was like different systems at first. Game Boy Color, that made sense. Then they added NES, and there was no crossplay. That was weird. Then the Wii U happened, and it's like you could carry over all the Wii Virtual Console games, but if you on the Wii U, you had to start from scratch again.
You
That
could
sounds
pay,
hell.
pay cheaper. Like if you had bought it on the Wii, you could like pay $1 instead of $6 to get it. But still, like, come on.
I mean, and then, I mean, I'll give the Wii U some credit. If you look at that lineup now, it's not really that bad either. Like it's Game Boy Advance. Like the Game Boy Advance library on the Wii U Virtual Console is actually fantastic.
Mhm.
Like
And
over
the
100 games. Like even some of the Wii games, they added Wii games, and there was a
Yeah,
lot of good
Metroid
ones
Prime.
there.
and
Metroid Prime
and they
Trilogy.
put the Animal Crossing DS on there.
Yeah, they did. They got
But,
the
like,
games on there eventually.
It like took them way too long, and now
took
it's
'em
too
way too
late.
long. 26. It felt like 2016 was when the Virtual Console came back to life on that system, and it makes no sense.
I know. What were they think? Because at that point in time, they knew the Switch was a thing.
Virtual
Right.
console on the Switch is going to get announced at E3 alongside Mother 3.
No, knowing Nintendo,
no.
they're gonna
Looking at-
release. Knowing Nintendo, they're gonna release some kind of weird GameCube
Don't laugh at me.
attachment
It's going to happen.
No
that
one,
plugs in through the Switch via USB-C, and it's just this mess of
think so?
wires and cords.
no
And it
one
reads actual GameCube discs.
knowing Nintendo, they would just put Mother 3 the original Game Boy ROM on a cartridge for $60, and I'd buy it because I'm a sucker,
Yeah.
you know.
No, they would
That's
announce
exactly what's gonna happen.
they would announce Mother 3, but only put it on the 3DS Virtual Console. Nowhere
Yeah.
else. Nowhere
That's
else.
what I was thinking too.
But on the new 3DS.
What I think Nintendo should do, and this might sound crazy at first, but if they started over one more time, they made the emulators good, because one of the biggest problems with the Wii U emulation was that NES and N64 were garbage, blurry, dark garbage. So make great emulators from the
What if
start.
I like blurry garbage?
Well, you're
Well,
trash.
Blurry garbage.
Then
Just like
buy
the
a
blurry garbage.
Yeah.
Promise that this is going to, like, no more resets. This is going forward. This is the Virtual Console.
This is the future.
This is the future.
Yeah.
The future is now.
The future is now. Get GameCube games on there. Get Wii games on there. We know they work because they work on the Chinese NVIDIA Shield, which uses like the same graphics
Yeah.
processor. You could play Super Mario Galaxy in HD in China if you have a Shield, but you can't play it in HD on a Switch. Get out of here. Get out.
Get out of here.
Eject-
Get out of town.
Eject you.
Just like show some commitment and like actually get more third parties on board. Try and get as many games. Get a whole team focused purely on Virtual Console and making it like an actual like museum of like classic games that you can just buy, and it's all there as much as you can possibly get. Make it seem like you actually, you know, give a damn about your history. Yes,
The D word.
God.
do it.
Darn on this server.
Oh, yeah, I'm
sir.
sorry. This is a Nintendo discussion, so give a darn about
Keep it G. Keep it G rated on the Nintendo discussions. Come the fuck on.
We're gonna have
I'm
to cut that
sorry.
out.
I can't believe you said that. That's
I know.
disgusting.
I'm
Can't believe
sorry.
it.
I'm feisty about this, okay? I care very much about my Virtual Console. I just want to play Earthbound on Nintendo Switch.
I just want
You
to play
will.
Super Mario Sunshine again.
I want to play.
Yes.
Chibi Robo and Pikmin 2 on my Nintendo.
Oh,
I
dude.
play Super
yeah.
Mario Strikers.
I wanna
my
play
God,
Super
I wanna
Sluggers.
Mario Strikers Charged.
I
bro.
want a new strike.
I-
I want to play
I just-
Luigi's Mansion, not on the 3DS.
Rhythm Heaven
Oh my God.
Fever
Oh,
on Nintendo Switch.
oh, I just want to play
don't
the
know.
new Pikmin game that Miyamoto said was finished 2 years
Tyler.
ago.
That's not Virtual Console.
I don't care.
I don't know. I wish publishers cared, like at least gave the appearance of caring more about the old stuff, because it
Mhm.
feels weird. It's like you look at movies and how much care is put into preserving those, like with stuff like Criterion Collection. I feel like gaming needs like a Criterion to like push this forward, and I think we'll get there eventually. It's just
There are two very different things, though.
they are two very different things. Movies are, movies, I guess. Games is like you need emulation,
Yeah,
all that
there
stuff. But I
are
mean,
definitely big,
it-
big
it's
differences.
absolutely it's harder, and I don't want to like undermine it, but I feel like it's not impossible. It's very far from impossible.
There are a lot of well, not a lot, but there are a couple documentaries out there that are really interesting about it. You guys remember that game iDarb on the Xbox?
Oh,
That
no.
the guy who made that, Mike Micah, I think, like he's like
Oh.
super into preserving video games, and in his house he just has like this video
Oh,
game
that game.
preservation thing.
I mean, at the very least, there's a big community out there that makes sure everything is preserved. I'm not worried about this stuff ever going like completely extinct and gone forever because it's on the internet.
Global extinction.
Global
Oh my
extinction,
god.
then video games will be gone forever.
Donald
Um,
Trump will get games globally extinct.
We have
I
to take it
hope.
back.
I need to find something new to do with my life anyway. I just wish, I guess, that companies cared as much as people do about preserving this stuff.
They only care about money, kid.
They only care about big bucks.
They only care about making the
So,
green.
so one of the games that was announced in Xbox 360 backwards compatibility is Red Dead Redemption, and seeing that, it kind of got me thinking about the second one. And obviously, these games are ginormous open world video games, and it got me thinking like about other open world games that I've played before. And I started racking my brain and was like, you know what truly makes a good open world? And I just want to throw up that question to you guys and see what your guys' thoughts on that are. Or is it just
Ooh.
Like I don't know. I think I know what makes a good open world for me, but I'm curious to see what makes a good open world for you guys.
Well,
Oh, that's a lot to ask,
well,
honestly.
I've never been too big about open worlds. I've always preferred, I think, just a stronger linear experience. Not that I have a problem with open worlds. I think I prefer more structured level design. Like I love platformers so much, and those are just A to B obstacle courses. Um, if you would ask me what's my favorite open world in a game, I'd have to give it to Zelda Breath of the Wild,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like
Okay.
that's how I guess the thing about Zelda is that it felt like a real world that like was lived in, I
Right.
guess, and that I could keep exploring it and I could find something new or I could just have fun
Hmm.
just seeing what's out there and going out and seeing all the terrain. And I played that game for 100 hours, so it didn't really get old to me, I guess.
Yeah. No, I
And
was thinking about the same thing. Like, you. Wait, I have to recapture what I was thinking about because you talked for so long.
You talked for like a minute.
Yeah, I'm retarded.
Disgusting.
that's the
Okay.
most I've talked all week.
Yeah, you made me forget everything.
Yeah, it's all your fault, Jonathan. How dare you?
It's always my fault.
No, yeah. I mean, I think.
Oh yeah, there we go. The livelihood.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. I just had to. I have dementia.
So go for it. Like, what about the livelihood?
It has to feel alive.
Mhm.
Like
Right.
he was saying, it has to feel like something's going on in it. Like, imagine if you're playing GTA 5, right?
Yep.
Yes.
But everything felt like somebody had a role. Like when what they're trying to do in Watch Dogs, like personalities,
Mhm.
you like scan them. I think it just needs more personality and you're good to go. People would go wild because it feels like you're affecting someone.
I'm glad you brought up GTA 5 because that's one of my favorite open worlds
Yeah.
ever.
Yes.
I-
GTA 5's masterclass in open worlds.
I
Yes.
come from I feel like me and Jonathan are cut from a similar cloth in that like I'm more of like a platformy, structured, linear kind of guy.
Yeah, I am
Like-
too.
Like open world games never really did that much for me. Like I remember when I first got the PS3 and the first Assassin's Creed came out. And I was like, well, it's so cool. I could ride on a horse and climb buildings and do an eagle dive. This is so cool. But then like they just kept coming out and I was like, okay, I've done this, seen that. And like the only open world games that really did anything for me were Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5. But up until very recently with games like Breath of the Wild, like it's a bold statement, but it's still like I stand by it that first 40 hours where everything is like magical in Breath of the Wild is like some of like the best video game moments that I've ever experienced in my life.
Mhm.
Like that game reminded me why I love video games, and I was trying to think about on like, what about that game in particular would do that to me,
Right.
and it's just that to me, I think in Zelda, it's just that thing of like there's a lot of the NPCs in that game that you talk to, and they just have a name. You know what I mean? Like it's not just Grumpy Man number 2 or 3. Like even the random, and they each have their own personality too. Like you'll run into these like two random girls, and like they're being attacked, but they have a name, and they have like you can tell by the dialogue, by the way they talk to each other, that they have their own personality. Like they're not just standard video game dialogue.
Right.
There's this guy who like sells you steak and stuff, and it's just I guess like a world that's organic and feels
Mhm.
a world that feels lived in can like
I
go
think it's
long.
important that it has you do activities as well. Like it makes the user be active.
Mhm.
It really like piques their interest because if you're just watching someone do interactions and you're responding, it's not that big of a deal. But when you actually have like things to do, things to complete as the person, it really immerses you in
Yeah.
that open world experience.
The
That's what I think is
greatest
the most important thing.
the greatest open world game I've ever played, and I will say I think oh man, the city in Los Santos, Los Santos in GTA 5 is the best recreation of a city in any game ever. Uh, just looking at the roads and how the traffic changes from time to time, just the little details in the world that really nailed down the feel of the city. Though I think my favorite, or I know my favorite open world game of all time, or open world of all time, is Assassin's Creed Origins, the new one that came out last year. And I think for me, an open world game is it's nothing without genuine transportation, genuine ways of getting across the map. It's not just a good open world will make me want to move around the map and not click on those fast travel parts all over the map. That whenever I'm fast traveling, I always feel dirty because it's because these developers have made a great world, but it's sad because if I'm not fully invested into this world, then I'm going to hit that fast travel to get right where I need to be, you know?
Yeah.
And so with Assassin's Creed, the way of transportation, the way of getting around the map felt so genuine. There were dozens of just these giant lakes and these rivers that just float and float, and along the rivers you just have these encampments and these like little settlements of people, and you can actually see the AI and the NPCs moving from their houses, doing the stuff on the sides of the rivers, fishing, gathering stuff, everything. You would see the occasional hippo attack. It just everything flowed. Everything in that map flowed genuinely, like a real ecosystem, like a real like a real civilization would live in a world like this. And also, I think something that is very important in open worlds is not blowing your load immediately, right?
Ooh.
And but by that I mean, uh, when the game opens up to the player, there should always be something in the world that you want to go to next. So in Origins, it was the pyramids. The pyramids, you start off in the game super far away from the pyramids, but you could always see them. And the thing with the game is that you could go straight to the pyramids whenever you want. You could go straight to go anywhere on that map if you want. And instead of doing that, I was like, no, I'm going to play the game as it's meant to be played and genuinely make my way to the pyramids, you know? And when I got to the pyramids, there was still other stuff around the map that I looked at and said, you know what? I want to go there next. You know what? I want to go there next. It's a way of compelling your player to want to explore by giving them different landmarks to feel attracted to. And
Yeah.
I mean, what better landmark than the pyramids of Giza? You know,
Mhm.
Can't
it's
copy paste too much.
They call that like this. I think this is what it's called. It's a term that Disney coined for Disneyland. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
I think it's called like hot dogging or something. Like it sounds disgusting.
Hot dog.
Yes, it sounds disgusting.
Walt Disney himself said that one. You know, my philosophy there in making this was all about hot dogging.
Hot
Hot dog, that sounds good.
Hot dogging my sister-in-law, hot dogging my grandfather, everything. I'm just getting hot dogs everywhere.
But it's because like you see a hot dog and you're hungry, so you're gonna go follow that hot dog. You see the hot dog in the distance, and you're like, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go get the hot dog. Nom, 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 nom.
Exactly.
So like that's what they do in the open world, and that's like one of the things I loved about Breath of the Wild, and kind of like you were saying too, where like as soon as you get off that plateau, your very first mission, and it's the only like main mission in the entire game, it just says destroy Ganon. It doesn't tell you like, well, it kind of tells you where to go, like who you need to talk to, but like, you know, if you don't know who Ganon is, you're like, okay, what do I do? So the only thing to do is just explore at that point.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. It's just that there has to be a progression with the open world. In like the best man, like in my opinion, the best level design is the perfect balance between open and linear. And I would point, if you said, so what's the best example of that? I would point you to chapter 4 in Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, the one that takes place in India. or I would send you over to Prey. The It's just that the small open worlds, they just feel so much more rich. But the very first open world that I came across or that I played was Origins, the one that I felt like, this is packed. And something that gets me too is water. Okay. and and like waterways, like I just love thinking about how water flows, right? And how like the tiny little streams off of lakes and something like that. And there are so many of those in Origins, and it's actually pretty integral to just hop on a boat, just going down the waterways. It's just there's something about like open world designs that um I feel a lot of them lack that hot dog in style.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like an open world that is beautiful. It is absolutely gorgeous. The best looking open world game I've ever seen and I've ever played in is Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, the thing that I don't like about that is that the world, it doesn't feel genuine. It feels really uh it's like somebody threw down a blank slate of paper and said, hey, you know what, make a map. So the person was like, okay, what's usually on a map? Okay, you got a desert area, you got a jungle area, you got a snowy area, you got mountain area, you got swamp. Okay, so I'll put that right there, that right there, that right there, that right there, without really thinking about where they put it.
Mhm.
And there wasn't anything besides this one city. Okay, now I'm gonna see if you guys remember this. Does anybody remember the show Dinotopia?
Never heard of it.
Like the
Really?
90s show?
Dinotopia, it might have been 90s. If it was like late 90s.
Hmm.
But Dinotopia was it was early 2000s. And it had uh the guy that plays, yeah, Wentworth Miller. He's in Prison Break. He's in The Flash. He's actually Captain Freeze in The Flash.
Oh,
Oh.
oh.
Dude,
Wow.
it was just, yeah. There's something about this game or this city in particular that really made me think of this show, and I was like, oh, this city is awesome, and the city itself is great, and that was the only type of quote unquote hot dog in that game for me. Everything else was just okay. Yeah, I'm in the desert map. Oh, that's a cool looking rock form, I guess. But nothing really went out of its way to grab me, other than just the lore. I guess the lore is very interesting, and with open world games, especially, I'm gonna keep going back to Assassin's Creed. The lore, like, come on, you already know what that lore is. Like, it's ancient Egypt. So it's not really grabbing you through the lore, and instead it's grabbing you through the look and the design of the world itself, which I found so great.
Yeah, there was something I wanted to love Horizon Zero Dawn, but
I did too.
to this day I can't finish it, and it's like that open world is so boring to me.
I
And
forced myself to finish it. I did.
yeah, I
The
feel like one of,
combat I don't like.
so it's like it's
That's
praised
a surprise.
it's praised so much, and like I can see it. Like I don't hate the game or nothing.
Yeah, me neither. Not at
I
all. I
really
think it's a
do.
good game.
What's
Yeah,
wrong with the
exactly.
combat?
I don't know. I really don't know what's wrong with the
It didn't
combat.
click with me that much either.
Like, other people love it, other people don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't like about it. It's just ugh, I don't know. It just didn't feel fun to play, I guess.
That makes sense. I mean, was
Yeah.
it a little easy? If I
No,
No, definitely not. Not for me anyway. I feel like a baby bitch.
And that's definitely not why I like it, because I beat it. But it's just it's not rewarding, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
The
The
thing is,
feedback
like,
loop.
the thing is, it could be rewarding to you. I don't know, because a lot of people seem to like it a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But like for me, like there was nothing hot dogging me around that game. and
Mhm.
very similar to how you said, like the biggest appeal to Horizon Zero Dawn was its lore, and also
Exactly.
and like I was interested like why there was robo dinos, but I wasn't like I don't know, it didn't interest me that much, I guess, like not as much as I thought it would.
See,
But
yeah, yeah. Actually,
also
like that's the only reason why I finished it was because the story was very intriguing to me.
yeah.
But I get like okay, once I figured out where, because one of the biggest questions of the game was where the hell does this game take place?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then once I figured it out, I was like, oh okay, that's cool. And then I didn't care about where I was anymore.
I'm still gonna finish it. But another thing is like I played it like that and Zelda came out at the same time, and
Yep.
I'm such a big Zelda fan, I had to prioritize that first.
Absolutely.
But for me, I felt this disconnect between like what my player could do and the world, if that makes any
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah.
Like I maybe it was just because I played so much Zelda, but I would see a cliff and I want to climb that cliff.
Right.
He jumps at it and there's like nothing you do. It's so frustrating. I would have to like run all the way around this giant building to find like a pathway up, and like I was like I just want to climb up it, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it made the exploring the world not fun in that sense for me.
Right.
I don't know why that just reminded me, but I feel like the best way to describe like the open world in Zelda and why I feel like it works so well is that the world feels like its own character.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes, exactly.
it's just very like the way you interact with everything just makes it come alive, and that was like my driving factor because it was just like I can go where the heck ever I want. I could climb a tree, I could climb a cliff, unless it's raining, of course. But it was fun. The act of exploring was fun in and of itself, and I feel like
Yeah.
that's what an open world needs to be. Like driving around in Grand Theft Auto 5 when it's like nighttime and you're on the highway and you're blasting music.
Incredible.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yes. Like, oh, Grand Theft Auto is so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Such a great open world design. So, like, yeah, Malik, what's your favorite open world design of all time?
Oh my god, my favorite world design of all time. Time is. Oh my god. This is a difficult question.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to go with like some sort of M&M.
Eminem.
I have to go with some kind of M&M.
We cannot speak to that.
I'd have to go with some kind of MMO. Probably EverQuest.
Really?
Yeah,
That's interesting. Why?
Like-
Like,
because it just feels like the perfect fantasy world.
mhm.
It's been going on forever. There's a reason people are still enticed, you know. It feels
Yeah.
like I think it's such a balanced feeling of like having to actually reach your goals rather than just going straight through the quests. Like you actually follow certain steps in quests and have to do a lot of stuff. It's not that much of a grind, I think. Okay, it is a grind, but it's not boring.
So would that be more of a design choice, or
Yeah, it'd be a design choice as in it doesn't baby you around. You
so
can't
how does that work into the world? I guess.
into the world it works like it can't be your nanny, you know. That's what that's how it can't
The,
it
the
can't like
world
baby
can't
you
be your
around.
nanny. Or-
Yeah, the world can't be your nanny.
So what games do you feel the world is your nanny?
Let's think about it. I could go with MMOs and tell you what that feels like.
Oh, I'm sure. you
Like
could.
after every quest, you get an item. Like they just give you something.
Is that the
every
world
time
though, or is that just the design of the game?
No, I think that's the world. That's the people who live in it, and they're part of the world. I think it's part of the world that they don't treat you with a high reputation immediately, or they don't give you all that stuff. It has to feel real, and the world feels artificial. I think the design and the world actually go together.
That's interesting.
I mean, are you talking about the world as in like how it looks in general? Because I feel how it interacts with you is exactly that. The design.
I think that what you described, in my opinion, is just more of the developers intervening than the world itself.
No.
Really?
I'm thinking that I'm not asking for anybody to intervene. That's the thing. I'm asking for the person to intervene more. The person to have to
But it was
actually
it
do
was the
like
developer's decision to make that man interact with you.
oh. Mm,
Am I wrong? Like, explain this.
It was
I
the
don't play
develop- it
MMOs
was the
much.
developer's decision, but what isn't the developer's decision?
Y-
That's what I'm thinking. Like,
No, it's interesting because I guess I never really thought about. I I feel like giving an item away isn't the world. Isn't the world babying you. It's just the designer babying you. I don't know how. Like, I feel like if you give somebody an overpowered weapon or something that's on the design of the game and not the world itself.
Hmm.
Because
I mean, but doesn't that affect the interactions too?
it does, but then that's just bad design. Like, if you took that item out, maybe the world would be good then. You know, maybe you would play the game in a different way and the world would actually come out.
Yeah, but
Like,
where?
it was
That's what I'm wondering. Like, where doesn't that apply?
I think that it's all I think that what I'm trying to get out is the visuals and the way that you move around the map and the way that the map is laid out.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
That's more of where I'm looking. But it's interesting that you think that's interesting to think about.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely is. Uh, but yeah. Other than that, nothing else.
Yeah, one
Uh,
of the worlds that I thought would have gotten me but didn't was The Witcher. I find it so utterly boring.
okay.
Oh,
That's
really?
oh my god. I was just talking to my friend about that. So
yeah,
what
go for
happened
it.
was like, you know how you play a game? This happens with mostly open world games. You get really hooked. Skyrim, Witcher 3, a lot of other games. Basically every Elder Scrolls. You play it for so long and then you try to go back into it after you stop and you just can't.
Yeah,
You go on for hours and hours.
yeah,
I
that's
can
what
agree
happened
with
to
that.
me.
Like,
But oh, go for it, Jonathan.
yeah, like I don't know if I could go back to Zelda anytime soon. I don't even know if I could restart Zelda,
Ooh.
honestly. Like, I feel like maybe it's just because it's still fresh in my mind, but if I tried restarting Breath of the Wild from scratch, I don't know if I'd be able to do it. You know?
That's
Yeah.
that's what I thought at first too, because I put so many hours into Zelda. But once I started from the beginning again, when I started playing it on the PC, um, like I got hooked immediately again, and before I knew it, I already had like 10 hours again. I was like, what am I doing? I have this game on the Switch. Like I just got sucked back into the world. But I find it interesting that Braden didn't like The Witcher 3 because that was like, remember how I was saying how open world games besides GTA and Zelda didn't really do much for me.
Mm-hmm.
The other one that did do something for me was The Witcher 3. And the only reason I stopped playing that game was because the mechanics of it are so complex and the story is so complex in it that like once I stopped playing it for like a week, I couldn't go back to it because I didn't remember what I was doing, where I was going, how do I play the game.
I think that's what it is for me. That's why it didn't resonate for me, was how overwhelming everything was.
I'm not gonna lie. I felt it was a little easy. That's why I didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, no, like no lie. It's I don't know. I think it was mainly the combat that felt oversimplified. That was a problem. And then some of the quests just didn't belong where they were sometimes. Like sometimes I just felt like it was misplaced. There were a lot, but sometimes you just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I just felt the world was very overwhelming to me. And
Yeah, I
I
get
don't
that.
know. I enjoy fantasy settings, but not that type of fantasy, I guess.
Mhm.
Like what would you call it? What do you call it? That's low fantasy is kind of
So
it's-
you're a poser.
it's like yeah, it's like right in the middle, right? Like you wouldn't call it high or low because
So, like,
there's
what-
still magic
the-
involved and all
Yeah,
that
the
jazz.
kind of fantasy you like is like a Dark Souls fantasy, right?
I I don't know. Like it's weird because I enjoy like the Lord of the Rings and that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And I
Huh.
enjoy the setting of that, but I think the setting that I love the most. I think my favorite setting that you could put fantasy in is like modern day fantasy, like Final Fantasy 15.
Like a
But
mixture of the two types.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, obviously, that's not what The Witcher 3 is going for. I just found the world so uh by the numbers generic fantasy like novel setting.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
could definitely see that. For me, the biggest draw for it was like I had never seen side quests so complex in my life before in a video
Right.
game. Because like you have that main quest to find Siri, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, okay, cool, let me go do that. And I was like, oh, here's some bulletin boards. Oh, here's some kids like kicking some dirt around. I'm gonna, spook them because I'm a witcher. That's what I do. But then
Right.
like you read the bulletin board and you accept all these quests, and then you're like, okay, I guess I'll do this side quest. And then it keeps going and going and going, and before you know it, you're on this side quest for like
Oh my god.
hours, and it introduces new characters, and that side quest opens up different side quests, and I'm like, what am I even
Look,
doing
yeah,
right now?
like
So
I respect that,
yeah,
but I also don't like that.
I definitely see. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
just
I
like a
don't
point
know.
at which it needs to stop.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
quick to burn out, like you just said, like a little earlier. Don't shoot your load.
Because like
yeah.
yeah,
Don't blow your load
because
immediately.
the one of the first big side missions in that game is with the Red Baron,
The
and you
Red
do
Baron, yeah.
yeah you do so much in that. Like you chase a fetus ghost baby in a field.
Mm-hmm.
If that's not a game of the year, I don't know what is. First of all, but second of all, after I was done, like because he asked you to find his daughter and stuff like that. After and then you end up finding like this witch in the woods who like kidnaps children. It's weird. It keeps going
Mm-hmm.
and going and going. But as soon as I was done with that, I felt like I had beaten like the main quest. Like I didn't. It was
Yeah,
weird.
but you're only 15 hours in.
Yeah, yeah, or even more in my case.
It just felt way too overwhelming to me. It's like I got things to play.
Mhm.
I got work. I got a life.
Yeah, I
I
guess
gotta
for
deal
me,
with-
at that time it was like that was my game to play, Like I didn't have anything
yeah.
else. So I was like, I'm just gonna absorb this.
I guess the last thing I want to say about open worlds
Mm-hmm.
is that I just feel like the sacrifices that you have to make for them sometimes is kind of why I don't like them. Because I was thinking about this in the back of my mind when I was talking about Zelda. Because my favorite Zelda to this day is still Twilight Princess. It's not Breath of the Wild. And I think it's just because Twilight Princess felt like more of an actual like adventure, I guess. Especially in terms of like dungeon design. The dungeons of Twilight Princess are so far and beyond anything I think in Breath of the Wild that
Yeah,
I would go back and play Twilight Princess I think much sooner.
I don't think they had to sacrifice that though.
Not
I
no,
think
not,
that was just their decision to do
not
that.
necessarily. I mean, it makes sense. Breath of the Wild is the first Zelda of its type. You gotta, test the waters first before you go crazy. And I hope that in the future the dungeons return to a more like themed and more exquisite design type
Mhm.
deal. But at least as it stands right now, it felt like the world took precedence over the dungeon, and that kind of
Yeah.
didn't work for me. And then as I was thinking about sacrifices, I started thinking about like Super Mario Odyssey and how that one went for a more open world type design, or at least open ended rather than the linear. And I felt like that hurt the game so much for me because like
Yeah.
I like Mario when it's like I got one objective. I got to beat the challenges, go from A to B, maybe do some stuff on the side on the way there, and
Again
then
though, like
that's the goal. Whereas Odyssey just felt like endless. It's like, oh, I found a moon. Oh, I found a moon. Moon,
Yeah.
moon, 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 moon. And
again, I
it's
just think that's a design thing.
yeah.
Like they could have done so much with their world, but ultimately they didn't.
Yeah.
Like the really great levels, I guess, are the stuff after you beat the game. And it's like, well, I don't want to play anymore.
Even then, I don't know if I'd agree because at least the stuff I played after the game just felt like more of the same. This is talking about Odyssey. And I feel like the way that you design like a galaxy or a 3D world, I don't know how you really do that in Odyssey without entering a room and doing something completely separate. And Odyssey tried to do that, but all of those like side platforming missions never even like touched anything in 3D world, for example.
Mhm.
The best
And
levels in Odyssey were the secret levels.
yeah, and if you like those secret levels, play 3D world because
Mm-hmm.
it's better.
Yeah, but I don't think that like I think that the platforming in Odyssey could have been the best Mario has been,
Oh, the controls of Odyssey are on point.
but
Absolutely fantastic.
they didn't make a I don't think they made a good open worlds. I don't think they made good open worlds. I really
I
don't.
honestly think I prefer the worlds of at least Mario 64 to Odyssey in terms of design, or at least it might just be because the structure is so different and it's like there's only 6 stars or whatever per level, and
Mhm.
each one felt like this is an entire challenge on its own. We have to make sure it's good. Not all of them are great.
Now, do we ever think about, rather than being the one in control of the character, do you ever think about like multiple characters like The Sims? That could be something. And that's where I feel like that's something else that branches off from the generic open world, you know? Where you just control of different things, different facilities, like monopolies, sort of.
That
Tycoons.
for me that would make I could see that like a simulator, but for me that
Yeah.
would like I guess remove me from the experience, you know,
Yeah.
and I would feel less like I'm exploring and more like
But what if like the possibilities were endless? Like what if you had a Sims that was just like a perfect simulation?
I think at that point that would just be
I'll just-
like a simulation game
Yeah.
and not
I
like
would just stop living my own life.
yeah, not like a
Live it through
traditional
simulation.
open world game.
Something else I'm thinking about, and I can't really talk about this with any like level of personal experience, but I'm like reminded of Mirror's Edge
Mm-hmm.
and how they made well, I forget what the sequel was called. I think it started with an R.
Catalyst.
Catalyst. I don't know where the R came
Not even
from,
close.
and I didn't play it, but I just remember seeing so many people saying that there was no reason for it to go open world, and in the end, the game was worse off for it.
Mm-hmm.
And because the first game was just like like a one-shot romp of like parkour, platforming, action, whatever. And the second game muddied the water because suddenly you had to deal with an open world on top of that to try and it like I guess if sometimes it feels like open worlds are just open worlds for the sake of it,
Mhm.
you know, at least in some cases like that.
Yeah.
And I
That's
don't
why, yeah.
it doesn't feel like as much of a problem these days. Like it feels like most open worlds are well designed and justified, especially in the case of like a Breath of the Wild. Like I feel like that was the right move for Zelda. Um, I don't know. It feels like everything now is like trying to be more and more open,
Yeah.
and you
They
know,
don't really have like any in-depth design sometimes. Like it's
Yeah, and I
really
mean-
shallow all over the place, but it's big and shallow, so it's all right.
yeah.
Mm.
I don't know if I'd call Breath of the Wild shallow. At least
No.
like, there's a
See,
lot
I'm not
going
talking
on.
about Breath of the Wilds though.
Yeah,
My only problem with Breath of the Wild was the lack of like dungeon variety. Like I wanted so bad for there to be like a multi-floor like if like for me Breath of the Wild would be perfect is if you were just exploring and maybe somebody said something and kind of hinted at like, oh, if you're by the woods then you know hit a tree with an axe, something spooky might happen.
well,
And you do that and like out of the
Oh.
ground rises like this ginormous like classic style ocarina / Twilight Princess dungeon that you would explore. If there was like just
Mhm.
3 of those that you could just find on your own, it had nothing to do with the main story, like that would be
Yeah.
incredible.
right. I guess the reason why I felt like they had to sacrifice the dungeons the way they did is because the dungeons, at least in like Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword and all that, is that they were so dependent on like the item.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
Breath of the Wild is like if you had a hook shot in Breath of the Wild, I mean, you could do it. You could do it like the whatever it's called in Just Cause, right?
I
You
th-
just go
Oh, the
insane
grapple
with
hook.
that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think the one game that really suffers from having a quote unquote open world is Nier Automata.
Really?
Yeah, I could
think
see
it's
that
kinda great.
too.
I could
running
easily
running
see that argument.
across that running that open world, and I know you're gonna be like, yeah, but it's supposed to be dead. No, that open world, it's not a fun open world at all to navigate around. I feel like this was
No.
like a corporate thing for sure, where Square Enix was like, no, hey, you know what, Yoko Taro, you got to make this game open world, and he was like, oh. Okay, I guess it's not a fun open world. It's not a
No.
pretty open world. It's
No, it's
no.
that yeah, That is such a
It feels
weird-
pretty empty at times, but that's it.
Exactly.
yeah.
It's not a good open world.
Its only purpose is to do well they do some interesting stuff with it here and there, like because you fast travel through the thing and sometimes like you try to fast travel like oh you can't, so
Right.
then you're forced to run over there and then
Which
you
is
see that something's up.
disgusting.
You know what I mean, like the fast travel box is destroyed and like the village is being destroyed and you're like oh okay, so that's interesting how they kind of play with that convention.
Yeah.
But even then, like it doesn't excuse the fact that that mini map is garbage and the
Yes.
game knows it and they make
And
fun of
The
it.
game makes fun of it. They were like, "Oh yeah, our budget.
Yeah,
Jokes
exactly.
on you."
Jokes on you. You gotta play our garbage game. Just kidding. But yeah, I do like
I-
it, and
yeah,
but it's yeah.
I think that's another reason why I
it's a
stopped
chore.
was because Root B. I was like, "Oh no, I
Yeah,
have
it's a
to
slog.
Navigate this open world again."
I'm thinking of No More Heroes, the original, that had an
Oh,
open
yeah.
world. That open world was I think you could argue it was like bad on purpose. Like the whole game is kind of like a satire on like gaming in general. Like Travis is almost like a satire of like
Mhm.
the traditional gaming hero, whatever.
It's
Mhm.
disgusting.
And Santa Destroy is like a satire on how pointless open worlds can feel. Like that's what it honestly feels like because you
Mhm.
just go around this open world for no reason, just to get from point A to point B. You do these like pointless mini games to earn money.
Yeah, like
Stuff like
mowing
that.
like mowing the lawn.
Yeah, mowing the lawn. And I honestly really like the mini games just because
Me
of how
too.
crazy they were and weird they were.
Yeah.
I guess at that point you argue like, is it worth sacrificing gameplay to make a point? I would argue if you know what you're doing, yes. Like I was talking about Super Paper Mario with somebody earlier today, and how like that game does a lot of really really weird things that you really shouldn't do, but the game is trying to tell you something or like make a point about it.
Yeah.
Like in chapter 6 when everything gets destroyed and you're just traveling across an empty void for like 5 or 10 minutes, you know.
Like yeah, like for Near Automata, like I don't like that game as much as most people do, but for me, like if you didn't have to go through all that garbage, it wouldn't make the things that happen later on as impactful, and the
Mhm.
overall game as a whole would just completely suffer. Which
Yeah.
sounds weird saying because it suffers
no, yeah,
anyway,
It makes
but
sense.
it's worth it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
not worth it to everybody. So it just kind of depends on the amount of BS you're willing to put up with.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
Yeah. Well, is yeah, just
I know. We know.
It's
We
right.
all know.
I
We
feel
all
you.
You know
know.
what? Let's get this energy. Let's get this energy up. Okay. There was a rumor. An Animal Crossing rumor. That's enough to get me, right?
Oh my god.
Animal Crossing
Animal
Crossing Globetrotter
I'm erect.
was
Oh my
quote unquote leaked. Yes, you're probably reading this like it is confirmed fake. No, you get the fuck out of here with that. Today, right now, at this moment, it's real, and we are discussing it. We are getting hyped. Animal Crossing, what do you want?
What do I want? I want to be I want to go fishing. I want to go to Bug Island and catch bugs at 12 o'clock at night. And
You already do that.
I want to do it again. I just want to do it again. I want it to feel fresh again.
The easy answer is just more Animal Crossing, exactly as it is.
I just want more Animal Crossing. I
But
get so excited talking about this franchise.
the funny thing about Animal Crossing is like I didn't grow up a Nintendo boy. Like I got a 3DS and I was like, okay, everybody talks this Animal Crossing. I gotta buy it. I didn't know anything about it. Like
Mhm.
I knew of it. So I bought it and I played it. And on day one, I named my guy. First of all, you don't get to control what he looks like. The game just does that for you based on your answers. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then like, I go around and shake a couple of trees and that's it. That's all I could do that day. Like I played the game for like not even 10 minutes and I've already done everything I could do. And I was like, are you kidding me? What do I do with this garbage game? I was
You
8.
take that back.
I thought it was gonna be like The Sims or something, and I was like, what is this? But then like I did the thing
next
where
game.
I did the thing where I just skipped the time and I just kept going. and I just fell in love. I love everything about Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing, it's like the jolliest game ever.
It's so peaceful.
It's so jolly. It's so peaceful. It's so calm. It's so relaxing. Come
It really
home from a
is.
terrible day of
Absolutely that
work. You
way.
know what? You just throw on that Animal Crossing. You go fishing. You know, it's night. You're in your bed. You're like, God damn it, I'm not even tired right now. But you realize that your 3DS is behind you. Your 3DS is flashing that blue light at you, and you say, you
Oh.
know what? It's time. It's time to go catch some bugs on the island. It's go talk. It's time to go talk to Captain and say, you know what, Captain? It's time to leave. It's time to go to this island. It's time to get hype. We are capturing golden stags tonight.
Golden
It's time
The
to
rainbows.
capture sharks.
Just the most perfect music imaginable.
The
All
most perfect
nighttime
music.
KK Slider.
Say
no more, fam.
The
Every
most
Saturday night.
suave man alive.
Totaka's song. Say no more, fam.
There's just something about Animal Crossing that nothing else can recreate.
Except for
Like-
heroin.
Except for him.
Oh,
Take,
yeah,
my,
that's
take
true.
my word for it.
There's a certain serenity about the game that
Like-
it's just
Like you
Beautiful.
saying KK Slider, and I just started thinking, you could start this game up every Saturday night and listen to this dog sing, and it only happens on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I can't, like, what other game does that, I guess, where it's like, it feels like a living, like a truly to life. Like this is a game that lives if you're there or not.
I genuinely get sad when I boot up my 3DS and I see that like half of my villagers that I love, they're gone, and new ones have moved in, and there's just like all these weeds everywhere, and my house has got cockroaches. I'm like, why?
and it's like, who are you?
It makes me
Bring
feel
back
like a,
my old friends.
yeah, it
Bring
makes me
back
feel like a piece
Apollo.
of trash.
What's Apollo doing these days anyway? What's he
Uh,
doing?
Not living in my town, thank God.
No, he's getting high res. He's getting high res for the Switch version that's going to be announced at E3.
Yeah, and as soon as he asks to move into my town, I'm gonna tell him no, move away.
What? This is Apollo we're speaking about.
The only one I want in my town is Boone.
The
Oh,
only,
You remember
yes.
Boone?
the only one I want is Lobo,
Oh, the wolf, right?
the wolf.
The
That's my
Lobo,
best
he's a-
friend.
I
Lobo.
remember one of my favorite villagers moved out. I think it was Boone, and I was really sad. And a new one moved in, and it was just this sheep clown. I was like, "You kidding me? You're gonna
You've
let my
disgraced my town.
you're gonna let my monkey bro, who would talk to me about protein, leave over this disgusting clown sheep? What happened? Why is this sheep just like a clown?"
You sound incredibly hurt.
Everything was so good about that game. Just I loved it. I loved the town planning. I love saying, you know what, if this was my town and I was to put a camping ground, where would I put it? You know where I put it? I put it right across from the waterfall. You know me. I love me some waterfalls. If I wanted to go camping, I want to camp next to a waterfall. And this game lets you do it.
Mhm.
This game lets you do it. This
What
game
if-
lets you
What if in the new
S-
Animal Crossing, it starts up and you go to talk to Tom Nook, and instead of him, it's just his two little boys. It's just his two little boys, and you say, "Where's
Oh,
Tom Nook?"
Oh no, don't do this.
No, and they just slightly like they don't tell
Don't.
you. They don't tell you straight up, but it's like
Don't
he's no longer
do
with them.
this.
What if they did that?
I would
That'd be awful.
legitimately
And-
cry
and-
probably.
What if
Actually.
you're looking for Isabel and she's just not there?
Oh, no.
Isabel just
It's-
isn't there.
Is the new Animal Crossing a visual novel?
It could be.
Oh my god. What if somehow it was linked to your old Animal Crossing
my
and when you
gosh.
booted it up, it started showing you all your wares and everything, all the moments that happened in the old game in New Leaf. Dude,
Oh.
I think I would legitimately cry. I would get so nostalgic and so emotional. Oh,
I still play New Leaf to this day.
I think that would kill me. Actually, I think I'd be like, "Wow, these were the good old days
And then you die.
when I didn't have to worry about who I was voting for and a war on Syria." I just want, a war on Syria. You know, it's looming.
I guess to talk about the leak
Move-
itself,
Move to Canada and play
Yeah.
some
So
Animal
what was that
Crossing.
leak? I missed it.
it really wasn't much. It was two screen like off screen screenshots It had a title screen and just a picture of a guy in front of a train station. It was really the most boring leak of all time. Like if it's fake or if it's real, it's fake, but it's real tonight.
It's real tonight.
It
It's
really
always
wasn't.
real
But
to me.
basically, all it was
Whenever
like,
you're listening, it's real. Okay.
yeah, basically it was like, oh, it's Animal Crossing on the Switch, and that's all you need. I don't even know what I would add. Thankfully, it's not up to me. You know, I don't have to be the guy who comes up with all the new stuff you can do in Animal Crossing.
I want more stores. I want to build a city.
You could, yeah. I feel like maybe just expand on like the city aspect, and maybe you could go even further with that. I don't know how much you could do that without like diluting, I guess, the
Mhm.
purity of Animal Crossing.
The purity.
Diluting the purity.
I know. I mean, I'm serious though. Animal Crossing is like you start it up and you just
Yeah,
have
no.
a relaxing time. If you like, then you have to manage a city.
Genre breeding,
Yeah,
genre mixing.
yeah.
No, I agree.
If you start building a city, then like if you're gone for a year, you go back and the city's on fire. and
Oh,
polluted.
Well, I
Jeez.
mean, that's the thing. If you're gone for a month, you might as your town might as well be on fire.
Yeah.
I think a little Tamagotchi thing like that would be pretty fun. Just like a couple of days though, and then something happens and you have to actually look at it.
and your villagers die if you don't take care of them.
Yeah, I want the ability to have a public execution in Animal
I
Crossing.
want my Animal Crossing villagers to mate and have little children, and then
Oh.
their little children grow up, but their parents never die. Everybody is immortal because I don't want to deal with that.
I want there to be criminals. Like I want there to be a little like you think they're your
They're
friend,
they're already is a
but
criminal.
you invite them
they're
over to your house.
His name's Tom Nook.
No,
His name is Red.
imagine you have someone over for your house, and after they leave, you realize one of your items are gone, and you go confront them, and they get real serious about it.
You see,
But then they start sweating, and then they start running really fast, and you have to call the cops on them.
you have to call your local dispatch, and they're monkeys.
Like you
okay?
don't want to have to do that to them, but you have to.
I just imagine like little monkey guys dressed up in little police suits going on their little police scooters against like this man that just stole your fishing baskets.
But then they tell you this really sad story on how they needed it to make money to pay rent.
Exactly.
But you just have to lock them up anyway. There's no other option.
No. You
can
can't
go-
lock them.
You
Then
can go visit them in the cell,
you
as
could,
watch them as they degrade day by day.
No, they're immortal.
you could just tell them there are no deadlines in Animal Crossing. You don't ever have to pay your debt if you don't want to.
Exactly. As long as
You
I'm
don't know
catching,
that.
as long as I'm catching golden stags,
Yeah.
we're doing okay. So, like, is there anything that you would like to see like happen? Like any new thing?
I was thinking about this last night. Like, what would I even add? And I was like hard pressed because, in a lot of ways, I guess New Leaf felt like it was. This is already like golden, and I'm not sure
Same.
what you could really do besides just more Animal Crossing, more villagers, like new villagers, or more furniture options. Just
Okay,
more of what's
here's a
already
question.
there.
If we got an Animal Crossing New Leaf upres HD version, how would
Hmm.
you feel? I'd feel perfectly fine, honestly.
I think I'd be pretty disappointed.
I'd be
fine with
disappointed, but
I mean, I
Animal
guess in the same way that like nowadays I feel like it's okay. Like Mario Kart 8 is the Switch Mario Kart. Well, all right, fine. I played this already, but okay. I think eventually I'd get over it, but I don't know.
I want a new one.
I mean, they kind of did that once already because City Folk on the Wii
Right.
was basically
The GameCube one.
Wild World, the DS one.
What do you think
Yes.
about more interaction with other people though?
I mean, that's something the games do already. Also, is like you can
Yeah.
go visit everyone else's towns.
Can have them come on
Yeah.
over. for
Even the Wii
barbecues.
one even had voice chat.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
I had no clue about that part.
Yeah.
and your little mouth moved too.
Um. Here's one thing, and this isn't like some gameplay revolution, but it's just like they could do this. How about
Gameplay revolution. You heard it here first, folks.
Herbert first.
2019,
Okay, now listen. This is crazy. I don't think any game has ever done this before. But what if you could use the right analog stick to move the camera around?
What the fuck?
Oh
Get
my
outta
I think
here.
that'd be pretty
God.
insane.
That is
Too
revolutionary.
bad we have dynamic cameras that follow them. So
That is insane, Jonathan.
Listen,
know.
Jonathan, Nintendo can't do the impossible, okay?
know,
You're
I
asking
know.
for too much.
Dude, that is not even Miyamoto could do that.
No, it's very it's very hard to do, but I
I
mean,
want to bless his soul. He would never be able to get that done.
probably not.
No, he couldn't. He couldn't.
it's like asking for flying cars, Jonathan.
That is asking
No.
for flying
Well, I
cars.
mean,
no,
listen-
flying cars are more possible than that.
Time machines are more
I
possible.
know, I know, but I know. I'm just throwing it out there. It's like you
You
know,
know-
pie in the sky.
Honestly, I would not take that pie in the sky. I love the way that the map moves with you.
Yeah,
Like
Scrolls like a cylinder.
Like a globe, yeah.
yeah.
I
I mean,
love it.
but
So
that's
get your
like-
revolutionary ideas out of here.
but that's literally it. Like that's the most revolutionary thing. Maybe I'm uncreative. I am pretty uncreative. I just want what I got, and the only thing I could think
I'm
of is
disappointed in you.
yeah, maybe you come over the camera.
Yeah, expect better, Jonathan.
I'm sorry.
Replacing our usual camera. Eject this guy. I'm
So,
sorry.
so I've never played the other Animal Crossings. Was New Leaf is the first one that lets you be mayor, right? Like that
Mhm.
was the big hook in
Yeah.
that game.
Yeah.
So-
Yes.
So in the previous ones, you weren't like allowed to put park benches or little wells anywhere,
I don't think so.
No.
huh?
In this one, you
is-
should be able to control your economy.
Because that's oh, we'll make it a socialist economy. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, there
But,
are those the husband and wife that actually have that, like they control your economy. There is actually an economy in New Leaf.
Yeah,
It's the-
surprisingly. Yeah,
yeah.
the alpacas, yeah. Which is pretty cool. Like this game goes in depth, man. This game
The
has
stock
systems
market.
upon systems.
Yeah, Animal Crossing stock market. That's what we need.
Yeah.
it needs hot sauce.
Animal Crossing Wall Street.
What?
Calm down.
Wall Street. That's what it needs.
Sign me up.
I think
Like
it needs
a-
Mark Zuckerberg.
And
I
I'm,
think
and I'm like,
honestly, the biggest thing that they can do right now is it's really just expand, make it a
I-
city.
I would like more
Really?
interactable items. I guess like it'd be cool to ride like a little bicycle around. You know,
Give me a bike,
just
especially
little
if it's
stuff
a
like
city.
that.
I think
Yeah.
you should be able to rob a store.
you know, what would be cool actually. I just
As
thought
mayor.
Yeah.
to expand on the city idea. What if it was like you could have your own shop in like a city, and like people could visit like just the general city area, and they would see like shops from other people, and if they like your items, they could buy your items, and like you could have your own store.
Ooh, like Happy Home Designer, like that sense of customization.
Oh
like,
yeah,
but
that
taking
too.
that to taking that to
an actual Animal Crossing game.
yeah, and yeah, right, and to a like a shop, like customizing your own shop, your own wares, what you sell, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking, like, if there was a city, like, what would you fill it with that isn't already there? And I figure, if you had like a big place where people would come together, and it was just like a giant, like
Like a downtown.
a downtown. I'm trying to think of what the word is, but where people like set up their own tents to sell their own items. That's something.
A flea market.
Yeah, a flea market. That's what it is.
And it could be run by a flea.
It could be run by a flea.
Yes.
There you go.
None
I
of
don't
those
know.
cameras, though.
Could you sell an entire game on that idea? I don't know, but hey, you could
Yes.
do that.
That's just the theory.
Well, that wouldn't be that would not be the entire game.
No,
Like,
they would
that would be the social aspect of the game, really. I
right.
think.
Yeah, they'd call the game Animal Crossing. Let's go to the flea market.
Animal Crossing,
I'm down.
Don's flea market travels.
If anything, all I want them to include
Is taxes.
Yeah, we have to fill out our taxes. It's very important, or Tom
Every
will come
year.
and break our kneecaps.
The
But I-
flea is named Dusty Don.
I just want Nintendo to
What?
remind me every 15 minutes to go play outside.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's really important.
And then I would get out of the
Remember,
market and
viewer,
go
you need to
play
go outside.
I would go play outside in Animal Crossing.
Remember to take 15 minutes of breaks
For some reason.
when you listen to this podcast.
Yeah, please. Save
Perhaps-
yourself.
Yeah.
For
Forever.
For some reason, I'm reminded that big amiibo update they had for New Leaf added like Panel de Pon or Tetris Attack as an entire like mini game you could unlock.
Whoa.
So
Put an
hey,
arcade in there.
yeah, an arcade. Bring back maybe not
Like
NES
Yakuza.
games.
Yakuza arcade in Animal Crossing. Hype.
It's done it. It's done it already, and do it again. Give me
Do it
more
again.
Puzzle League. Give me
Yes.
a Puzzle League mode and
I
the
need some
Dr.
more puzzle
Mario
pirates
mode.
in my life. Now that's a fun open world.
Give me more Cookie Clicker.
Animal Crossing clicker. That's what it is.
Oh.
It's a
Oh
clicker
my
game.
god, you cracked
would
the
actually-
case.
I would actually kill myself.
Whoa.
I would
Whoa.
actually do it. If
Well,
if they're like, you know what?
Is
I
that
like
a bet,
to-
Brayden?
That is a bet.
What if
That's
it was
bad.
really addictive and you couldn't kill yourself because you were so invested?
No, I mean like I would kill myself before I even started playing it.
But what
Uh,
if one picture and convinced you somehow.
Yeah, no, if it's a Cookie Clicker game, Animal Crossing clicker, I'm killing myself. That's a bet. I'll write it
Oh
down.
my
Yeah,
god.
you heard it here first, folks. It's
I'm
the end.
actually
That happens. It's the end of time for a civilization as it is.
On
Let's put in 9.9 out of 10.
on Boss Rush, we only go for the far extremes.
Yeah, that's it. Our bets are extreme. All right,
Jesus.
all of our bets.
No fence huggers.
Expect that from us. If we lay down a bet, that bet's going to be extreme. Okay.
It will end in death
Extreme.
someday, I'm sure.
None of this. Oh, hey, you have to say a funny joke in front of a crowd. No.
You know, that might actually be the worst thing if I had to go out on like a comedy club and perform for an hour.
Oh, I would love
It
to see
really would be
that.
terrible.
Oh my gosh, I'm already like
I was thinking if we ever got big, right? Like really really big and started doing like live shows, like the Easy Allies are kind of funny. I think one of the funniest things, Jonathan, is me and you reenacting on stage that Donkey Kong mirror music video.
Oh, I don't even know
the
what that
mirror
is.
never lies.
Mirror Never Lies, reenacting that. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the 8th episode of the Boss Rush podcast. We had a lot to talk about this week, a bunch of stuff going on. Kyler and his Sam Fisher relationship questions, God of War, Spyro, Ali, Not a Hero Laser League interview will be done tomorrow, and it will be up next Wednesday. We got a new retrospective coming in just in time for Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. We would talk to Xbox backwards compatibility and backwards compatibility on all systems. We talked about open worlds and how you do them correctly. And then, of course, the highlight, Animal Crossing hype came out, was revealed. It revealed itself. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We will see you next week.
Take care.
Brush your hair.
Don't care.
How can this be? I faintly recall swinging tree to tree. Now I see a pirate that's in front of me. With slimy skin and beady eyes, what a surprise. The reflection tells the story of a pirate's life of glory. Trust my eye, the mirror never lies. The reflection tells the story of a pirate